female fight. Our 205-pound title fight is on the line tonight with Tyler Shipp and Nick Jewell. We also have 3 pro fights.
Welcome inside the Northern Kentucky Convention Center in Covington, Kentucky. Tonight we have Hardrock MMA 91. I'm David McKinney. Joining me tonight on the commentary will be Kelly Patrick and Scott Wegman. Guys, we have 14 fights set tonight. Just about set to go here. We're going to send it up to our ring announcer, Jason Weinel. He's going to get things started here momentarily.
Very slimming. But it's $12, or you can get 2 for $20. That's right outside Gregory. All right, folks.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn at the twilight's last gleaming, whose lustrous in the bright stars through the pale o'er the red were so gallantly streaming, and rockets regular bombs bursting in gave proof through the night that our flag was still oh, sailors that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the
Thank you, everybody. Before we get going with Hardrock MMA 91, I want to tell you September 16th is Hardrock MMA 92 at the Parakeet Springs Convention Center in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. So again, September 16th. But who's ready to get tonight going right now? I heard someone over here. Woo! Nice. All right, folks. Well, let's go ahead and bring out the fighters for the first fight of the night. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, Joshua.
The Northern Kentucky Convention Center. First fight of the night is going to be in the flyweight division. Making his way to the red corner is Josh Black, 0-1 out of Black MMA. Guy's 26 years old. Dropped his debut against Bradley McGar at Hard Rock 87 in March. And Scott, you know, the guy comes in 0-1 on his career. Looking to get a second opportunity here tonight. What do you think he's got to do here tonight to pick up his first win?
I'm not, sorry, against Brody Hooks from G-Forces, who he's fighting. I believe he got caught with a really, I think it'll just be kind of a...
And he's got Mojo Horn in his corner, so that should help a little bit too.
Yeah, for sure.
Josh Black in the red corner.
And fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner, Brody Hooks.
First G-Force fighter of the night is Brody Hooks, 23 years old, 1-0 his career. Training out of a really tough gym here tonight. got a lot of pros in that camp, and you know that coming out of a gym like that, he trains with a lot of tough guys.
Absolutely.
New Richmond High School wrestler, went to the state tournament in Ohio a couple of times in high school wrestling. Picked up a first-round TKO win over Cameron Taylor at his debut in April, and of course, as we mentioned, trains at G-Force with guys like Cody Gableman, Jeff Mack, and Charlie Stanford, who we'll see in our co-main event tonight here at Hardrock MMA 91. It's a different mindset coming into the cage with a 1-0 record as Brody Hooks, as opposed to his opponent who has an 0-1 record.
Yeah, but now that they're in, definitely.
At 122 pounds, representing independent MMA from Cincinnati, Ohio, Joshua Black. And his opponent, fighting out of the B, 26 pounds, G-Force from Cincinnati, Ohio, Brody. Against your referee.
Flyweight. Black trunks with the red glove tape. Brody Hooks also in the black trimmed in gray and with the blue glove tape. John House, the referee for this one. A couple of guys making the trek over from Cincinnati across the river.
Exactly.
Here to Northern Kentucky. And as you mentioned, you said you saw a size difference. Josh Black, 122 pounds against the opponent. Brody Hooks, 126.
I know there's not really much in a
big right hand lands. Just absolutely teeing off here early. Already under his belt. That's an interesting move.
Sorry. And again, it's as a debut, it's about getting experience. And I don't know if he maybe had a fight fall through or what. But again, a size difference is going to come into play big time in this one, especially when you see them both get in there.
Stenzel, 26 years old, out of Batavia, Ohio.
And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner,
Brandon Wren, 2 wins and 6 losses on his career. Last time we saw him at Hardrock MMA was Hardrock MMA 89. Back at Turfway Park, we saw him get submitted by Eli Mefford. They came back just a couple of weeks later and picked up a win over Andy Locker. Have been super active. We talked about them at Hardrock MMA 89, and also a lot of guys at Hardrock MMA 90 just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they also, the Patriot team definitely stays active. They're building up a big, fight team there and stuff, so they definitely have a lot to show for.
Wren says he has a wrestling background, wrestled a little bit in high school. Taking on Anthony Stetzel, a black belt in Maldudo.
I like this intro music. Very colorful.
Yeah.
Some NWA. Yeah. Never a bad choice for entrance music for the cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is in a catch weight of 140 pounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 138 pounds, representing Team Stetzel from Cincinnati, Ohio, Anthony Stetzel. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner, weighing in at 141 pounds, representing Patriot MMA from Covington, Kentucky, Brendan, America's favorite son, Ren.
Hell of a nickname.
I don't know if you like the nickname or do you like the shorts better with the Eagles on the shorts?
Shorts are good. Shorts are good. Very confident nickname.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are just boxer briefs.
Those are boxers.
With a cup stuffed in them.
Patriot MMA, they always have the patriotic.
I think it is.
Still trying to grab the hold of that neck. But Ren doing a good job here, passing the side control. Good job.
Right now is doing it right out of the gate.
Ren just trying to throw some ground and pound there. I thought for a second he was going to give up his position, but now he's back inside control.
And the big thing, too, with it being sweaty and slippery yet, so there's a lot more traction involved.
There. Heavy shots, but you land enough of those and the referee will stop it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now looking to try to... Stetzel doing a good job turning in to try to alleviate some of that pressure.
Yeah.
This is almost like a gi type of move. It almost looks like a scarf hold he's looking for. I've never seen this attempted in nogi in a MMA or nogi.
Reached around and grabbed his own hand now, and he's trying to pull up to keep the leverage on.
And Scott, what does Stetzel have to do here off of his back? You see he's turned on his side here in a really tough position.
At this point, I mean, can't see if his arm was trapped. I mean, it's pretty well trapped, so, and Bren's weight's on it.
Now
he's got it.
There's the head and arm choke, arm triangle. Needs to turn those hips over. He might be able to finish it. Stetzel doing a good job fighting it.
Yeah.
Stetzel, the black belt in Maldudo, more traditional style martial art.
Got to wonder how much energy Ren is exerting.
Yeah.
Definitely looks like he's been squeezing hard here for the past 30 seconds or so to try to finish that choke.
Now he's in the mount with punches.
See how much leeway John House gives him here.
Yeah.
Seems
Stutz needs to buck and roll at this point. Needs to buck hard and try to turn or reach up and grab and pull him.
Ren trying to finish
it.
It's
over.
2 wins in a row now for Brandon Ren, moving up to 3-6 on his career.
America's favorite son.
Exactly. With the eagle on the shorts. Or boxer briefs, as you guys.
2 minutes,
boxer briefs.
Seconds of the very first round. Referee Big John calls a stoppage to the fight due to unanswered strikes. For your winner, favorite son, Ren.
Nice win there for Brandon Ren. First win of the night for Patriot MMA. Got a couple more Patriot MMA fighters on the card here tonight as well.
Patriot MMA, always very exciting. If you follow them on, Facebook or anything, they have some very exciting, maybe outside the box type of methods to some of their training.
Okay.
I appreciate that. It
I'll have
worked
to check that
very
out.
well in that one.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I've never seen a guy try to finish a scarf hold in an MMA fight. Maybe hoping if he had a gi on there, that'd be a little bit easier to finish. But
I think punching a board, something pretty exciting like that.
Yeah.
So I enjoy stuff like that.
Colorful,
That's what I can bring to the booth tonight, guys.
We're going to be done by 8:30. UFC ain't got nothing.
Jason Wino happy he's going to be able to make his date here tonight after the
Yeah.
fight with the short first round finishes.
We always and intentionally thank our active duty and retired and our future military and first responders. So first, personally, I want to say thank you to all of our military and first responders.
Jason Weinel thanking our military and first responders. Very nice gesture. Hard Rock's always very patriotic.
Slimming, remember? $12, 2 for 20. Let's go ahead and bring out the next fight. Right now, this fight is in the heavyweight division. Fighting out of the red corner, Julius Moore.
Moving along, heavyweight division, Julius Moore, 2 wins, 5 losses. Also saw him back at Hard Rock MMA 89. Took a loss against Jesse Romans. Wasn't happy with that stoppage, Scott. He thought it was stopped a little bit early.
Yeah. It could have went a little bit longer.
See, he's coming out of Lexington, Kentucky, representing Vicious Athletics. Travis Branham, his opponent here, representing RT Fight Team out of Florence, Kentucky.
Gary Copeland was the referee for that, and I will never go against what Gary Copeland suggests during a fight. He has refereed many of my fights. So
And Kelly,
he's always there to keep you safe.
And Kelly, we see more with the experience advantage here. You know, he's been fighting since 2010, but made his return just back in May. He took about 5 or 6 years off, and it's got to be tough coming back after a really long extended layoff like that.
Absolutely.
It does. In Branham, we saw a fight in our last card, Hardrock MMA 90.
Exactly.
We were both impressed with him. We said we could have seen him moving down from heavyweight maybe to 205.
Yeah, taking another fight just 2 weeks after his debut, and as we see, and I did want to mention Julius Moore, a Marine Corps veteran, as well as we just mentioned the military veterans and first responders getting the shout out there from Jason Weinel. And Julius Moore is a veteran of the Marine Corps. Pretty athletic guy, played football, track in high school.
And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue Corner, Travis
Branham making his way to the cage here. Picked up a knockout win over Joseph Parker in the first round just 2 weeks ago. And as we mentioned, 210 pounds is what he weighed in here tonight. He actually gained some weight from his last fight. I believe he was 206 for his last fight. So definitely maybe got a couple of extra Big Macs and Whoppers in between the last 2 fights. A little bit of celebration food there for him. But a guy who just absolutely comes forward, and you can see built like a tank.
Yeah.
Representing RT Fight Team, also believe he trains a little bit with the Patriot MMA guys. So seeing those guys, Justin Burgun, Daryl Ray, a lot of tough guys coming out of that camp, and you know they definitely always show up to fight. There's one thing you can say about the Patriot and guys.
Yeah.
Brandon now, you know, kind of an honorary member of that team, I guess. Brandon making his way into the cage here.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this fight is in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 259 pounds, representing Vicious Athletics from Harrisburg, Kentucky, Julius Juggernaut Moore. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue Corner, weighing in at 207 pounds, representing RT Fight Team out of Muscle HQ from Covington, Kentucky, Travis Randall.
Heavyweight action here. Julius Moore in the blue trunks, Travis Branham in the black trunks, and we had Moore listed at 230. He actually weighed in at 259. And Branham 207. So
yeah, and Branham has not taken his eyes off of him since he got in there.
I believe his last opponent, Joseph Parker, was just around the heavyweight limit as well. So
yeah,
definitely not afraid to fight guys who are bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somewhat questionable, especially considering he's so close to moving down to 205. We'll see how this goes for Branham.
Yeah. They come out swinging hard.
Branham gets clipped with that left hook on the clinch. See Moore trying to muscle hooks with his hands clasped.
Some short knees. No pun intended on that.
Grinding up against the cage here. This is probably the toughest part of MMA is clinch work against the cage.
Yeah, it is. Everybody always thinks, you know, like, oh yeah, it's just no big deal. He's just pushing you into the fence. But that chain is totally unforgiving.
Moore now has his hands clasped trying to finish the takedown. Branham briefly grabbed the cage there.
Yeah, definitely grabbed it then.
I'm surprised that John House not giving him a warning. Did give a warning. But he,
holding the cage.
Yeah, he stopped at least one of those takedowns, and a lot of times if you do that, they'll take a point from you. Nevertheless, Moore on the ground at the top here in a front headlock position.
Big knees, come up trading. There he's set.
Julius Moore now with his hands down.
Yeah, he's reaching. Oh!
Branham got clipped there.
Caught him on the left on the way in.
He looked like he just kind of bounced back up off the.
Yeah.
Nice resiliency for Branham.
Branham needs to stop trying to block those with his chin. Lands a big right hand himself.
They're just
Follows up with a
haymakers
left
going
hand.
right now. Some uppercuts. Caught him with a left hook.
Now Moore trying to get the fight to the ground. I see some blood on the back of Julius Moore as Branham now throwing some big shots to the body here.
Yep.
It's actually from the lip, it looks like, of Travis Branham. Moore has a hold of that left leg of Travis Branham. It's going to be tough to try to finish this takedown from this position.
From here, because you are allowed to work elbows. I was getting ready to say, you're allowed to work elbows to the body as an amateur, and I was wondering if he was going to throw them, and he did.
And he's got to watch and make sure those don't hit the spine, though, right, Scott?
Yeah. He was keeping it towards the lat and kidney area, but
See him trying to throw some big punches here. Now has a hold of the neck. Can't see if his hands are clasped from our position.
yeah.
Gonna be tough to finish this though here with without pulling guard.
Yeah, which probably would not be the best idea for him at this point. If
Branham
he can
now
push away and just finish the round, he'd be good.
back to his feet. Just
Oh.
a couple seconds
this-
left to go here in
Hands
round
in
number
mount.
one.
Oh,
The referee stops it with just seconds left to go in the first round.
Branham with the buzzer beater.
Yep.
He kind of turned it on and did the ground and pound drill there at the end and able to get the stoppage. Travis Branham now moving up to 2-0. Nice performance there. As the doctor
Yep.
takes a look at Julius Moore. Seems to be responding to them. Good job by John House. A lot of refs would have let that go. I think that he had taken enough punishment at that point.
Yeah.
Didn't seem
and
to be defending himself.
the other thing is, too, is, at the end of the round, Moore's holding for that single leg, and Branham hips into it and pushes him back and then comes down in full mount. So it's not even so much that you have a lot of things going on in that instance. You have a 200 and some odd person sitting on your chest for one. You're exhausted after 3 minutes, and you're eating punches. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just a matter of, oh well, it's a short stoppage. It's good.
Julius Moore making his way to his feet here.
My question is, what's next for Branham? He took his
So-
first fight 2 weeks ago. 2
Moore
weeks
looks a
later,
little-
gets in, and
Yeah. And we mentioned he's been impressive in 2 fights, taking on 2 heavyweights when he's probably more of a light heavyweight.
about as large of a weight disparity as you'll see in MMA, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the light heavyweight limit and the guy who almost meets the heavyweight limit at 265 pounds, Julius Moore was weighed in at 259. To the paramedics taking a look here at Julius Moore. He's just exhausted here after that fight. That was an action-packed fight for heavyweights. That
Yeah,
was.
for sure.
blistering pace that's don't see a lot with heavyweights,
Yeah.
especially guys who just are a few fights into their career.
Yeah.
But that's a guy right there, Travis Branham, to keep an eye on here moving forward. 2-0 now with 2 impressive wins, and you see just the blood streaming out of the lip, and I think he's probably pretty happy about that.
Branham reminds me of the strongman competition winner, Pujanowski.
2 minutes and 59 seconds of the first round.
Just shorter and 150 pounds less.
Stoppage due to unanswered strikes, Travis Branham.
Travis Branham now 2-0, as we mentioned. Picking up a nice win. 2 wins in 2 weeks, and I think he might take a couple of weeks off here after that. Definitely has been impressive through 2 fights, so we'll see what is in the future for him.
Pretty fast pace to Hardrock MMA 91 thus far.
3 fights, 3 stoppages in the first round. I thought we were going to get out of the first round, but made it to 259 of round number 1. But as far as you can go without making it to the second round. A lot of these early fights, you'll see guys. You'll see a lot of times they'll go pretty fast.
Yeah.
When we get protect themselves a lot better. And the other thing is the referee won't usually give you as long of a leash in your first couple of fights.
Yeah, usually not. As much as people are like, oh, I was robbed. Whatever. At the end of the day, the referee's there to protect you. And if he feels you're not able to do it yourself, then he's there to save you. He's not there to make you lose or anything like that.
Or to be your friend necessarily. If you're pissed at him,
yeah.
I mean, that's on the ref is when he stops it.
Exactly. Yeah. Moving on to a lightweight fight here. We've got Matt Moore and Kalen Kumpf. Matt Moore coming out of Maysville, Kentucky, 1-2. Team Kraken. Kalen Kumpf is 1-0 out of G-Force in Cincinnati, Ohio. Moore making his way to the cage here. 19 years old, looks to even his record. It's 1-2 thus far. Virgil out of Vision, so a tough guy, and then picked up a win. This has been a while since we've seen him in the cage.
Yeah.
Or that loss to Perry Sturgill in the first. Perry is a
really
tough guy, and Perry also, you see Matt Moore down at 155. Perry is a really
at 55 is kind of astonishing to me because Perry's a really big dude. But
out to the cage here.
It's got to be Zach De La Rocha, right? No?
The reference.
So far?
The Rage Against the Machine lead singer? I think that's who it is. Yeah. But I don't think that's Rage.
We'll see if we can't break the streak so far. We're 3 fights in, and the blue corner so far has won every fight.
I know that Kalen Kumpf out of G-Force MMA in Cincinnati, they always put out very tough fighters.
He was very impressive. Naked choke win over Chris Annis in the first round. 21 years old, and one of the interesting things about Kalen is Charlie Stanford has kind of taken him under his wing, and I've seen a lot of posts with Charlie and saying, this guy's in the gym every single day, really tough guy, and he's going to go a long way if you're in the gym every day at a gym like G-Force.
Yeah, exactly.
Still waiting way to the cage. This might be the only thing that's able to slow down the pace so far.
Maybe they weren't anticipating such a quick first 3 fights, so they weren't ready.
I think they might still be checking, making sure Moore might be okay.
Oh, okay. That
makes
sense.
Commission and the doctor are not cage side with us.
First time for Hardrock MMA at Northern Kentucky Convention Center. Very nice venue.
Yeah, beautiful venue. And we talked at the last Hard Rock show. Hard Rock has kind of a rotation of events where they'll do consistent, and this is the first one. Maybe, hopefully, they've held a couple of events in the past year at Turfway, and now moving even further north, which, of course, being from Cincinnati, I like, just right across the river. And not that Turfway is really that far out of the way, but it's a little bit further south and down in Florence. And this is a kind of a different venue here. You're right on the river, in Cincinnati. And really interesting, nice venue here.
Yeah, it was
one of the nicer venues that Hard Rock has been to. It reminds me a lot of the Paraquet Springs Convention Center in Shepherdsville, which is where we'll be in September for Hard Rock MMA 92.
No AC, and the windows don't actually open, so then they just put up some box fans, which it's usually pretty stifling in there. So when they came in here, you got like a concession stand right
That's always a good feeling.
That's a review from a former fighter, right?
Yes.
That's the type of stuff you notice
Exactly.
is which places have air conditioning.
Yes, it is.
We finally got Matt Moore. He's making us wait. Hopefully that's making a fashionably late entrance here to the cage. see he represents Patriot MMA. Moore getting the final look over here before he makes his way into the cage.
And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner, Calvin Kumpf.
Colin Kumpf, second fighter here from G-Force on the night. 1-0 in his career, as we mentioned, had that win back at Hardrock MMA, 89 rear naked choke over Chris Anderson. The thing that I remember thinking about him is he looked very poised for a guy to be in his first fight.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is like when we talk about that, again, training at G-Force, it's not like they're just going to throw you into a situation of, some places they'll just take a guy and they just want to get their name out there, so they'll stick anybody in a cage just to kind of get some recognition. Whereas G-Force guys, if they're going in, they're gonna be pretty well situated, and they've been through battles already before they even got in a cage.
I believe the cliche is battle tested.
Yes, yeah. If they're letting you compete with their name on them, they're definitely not just throwing somebody off the street in there.
Exactly, and you see Charlie Stanford making his way there. Is going to be in the court. Also Ron Gableman, gets one of the most respected coaches in this area, and has been taking his guys all over the state of Ohio and Kentucky and all over for a really long time. And I'm sure he's happy to be able to stay close to home here.
And for sure.
Get some fights for his guys. Callan, just 21 years old, from Mount Orab, Ohio. Played football, baseball, and basketball in college, and also played college football for a year. So he started MMA just to get in shape at G-Force.
Weight division, introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing at 155 pounds, representing the Kraken fight team from Maysville, Kentucky, Matt Moore. 155 pounds, representing Team G-Force from Cincinnati, Ohio, Calvin Kumpf.
Lightweight action here. Hardrock MMA 91.
Doctor and commission, and once they return cage side, we will get going. The doc.
Looks like Dr. Sparks is making his way to the cage now, so we should be able to get underway here. And there's Todd, so just within the next couple of minutes.
Lightweight action here, as we mentioned. Matt Moore in the white and silver. Colin Kumpf is in the red. Big John House, the referee for this one. Now the commission is back cage side. Should be set to go here momentarily.
The body, that nice trip on the way down.
Right into the guard of Kumpf.
Kumpf with that body triangle. Here, it's more of a defensive move, but really makes the guy tough to breathe when the guy on top.
He's working for that left arm, it looked like.
Make a guy think twice about jumping into your guard. Has that overhook on the left arm of Matt Moore. Looks like he might be looking for a sweep here. Kumpf doing a good job controlling the posture of Moore thus far. Moore looking to try to throw some shots here. See Kumpf slowly but surely creeping those legs up the back, looking maybe for a straight arm bar here.
Yep.
And Moore looks like he has his hands out, or has his arm out.
Yep.
Kumpf now grabbing hold of that neck, looks like he might be trying to sneak out the back door. Has control of the neck, going to be tough. Doesn't really have the angle for the guillotine just yet. Also just has one arm in. Moore gets his head out there now. Grinding Colin Kumpf's head into the cage.
Kumpf had such long limbs. You know, he's able to, for one, keep a body triangle from the bottom almost the entire time.
Yeah.
And now he's twisting
even
to the point where he's going to take his back from that, which
Yeah,
would be
being very
phenomenal.
offensive. Being very offensive from that guard.
Of course, the positive of having long limbs is the ability to lock in a body triangle when a guy's in your guard. The negative is trying to close those small little gaps that open up.
Yeah.
See Moore not really doing a ton here. Scott, what's he got to do to try to posture up and be able to rain some blows down here?
Well, I mean, very far, and every time he does, Kumpf keeps grabbing for that arm, which he has it, you know, again. So I mean, right now he would whenever he feels his legs come apart, he really needs a posture. Like right now, he would need to posture and get up.
You see Kumpf
From here,
with
he's
his legs, toes in the cage. John House telling him he can't do that. Now Matt Moore up on one knee.
Nope.
A couple of seconds left to go here in the first round. This is a tough round to score because there wasn't a ton of action. We saw Moore with the takedown, and Kumpf was looking for a lot of stuff on it off of his back, but unable to finish anything and lock anything in. I believe as a ref or as a judge, you have to give that round to Matt Moore just based off of that takedown and really just being able to keep that position on the top.
Sure.
Yeah.
Comes into what is the judge looking for when judging a round.
Yeah.
And Moore was obviously the guy on top pretty much that entire round. So if that's what you're determining, no submission attempts really.
And the tough thing about trying to play jiu-jitsu in an MMA bout is the fact that a lot of jiu-jitsu guys are comfortable off of their back, and you saw Colin Kumpf looked really comfortable off of his back there, and we saw just the small things he was looking for, but really can judges pick up on that, pick up on the fact that he had that body triangle locked in the whole time, the fact that he was just switching his hips out and looking for that arm bar continuously. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu is a game of inches, and really that can get lost in translation a lot of times with the judges.
Yeah, it can. I mean, if they're uneducated in what they're looking at, then yeah. Like I said, it all depends, though. Some of them will look at it and be like, well, even though he was working for submissions and stuff and he did little things, Moore was still throwing punches, so it can kind of nullify, and then it becomes...
When I judged, they told me it was a simple formula. Who does the most damage?
Yeah.
Simple. Who does the most damage? So if you're looking for little nuances of jiu-jitsu, then that doesn't always translate to damage.
And could that be as simple as Colin Kumpf's game plan going in was to kind of work on some things, working off your back in a live situation like this?
Yeah. And again, that's why they have amateur fights.
Feels like everybody's looking at you.
He did display some good guard, some offensive moves from the guard.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, not necessarily a super tall guy for the weight class, but has super long limbs, which is always going to help you in jiu-jitsu.
I had a pause in the action. I believe they...
Commission left cage side again here.
Yeah.
This is tough for the fighters. You get that 90-second break, which you're used to, and then you get more than a 90-second break, and it's tough. Or how do you stay warm? And it's tough to kind of keep decelerating and accelerating in between rounds.
For sure.
Here
Yeah,
so
especially
times.
when you gotta. It took so long to even get the fight going, and then they got in. They had to wait even longer, and now we're at a standstill again. Again, things happen. Previous fights you can't go off that. I fought one time in Indiana, in a couple fights before mine, a guy dislocated his knee, and they didn't want to move him out of the cage, so it took like 45 minutes before they got him moved. And immediately the fight after that, a guy got punched in the throat, so they had to call for another ambulance. And it comes with experience, like the guys who haven't fought much. This would shut a lot of people down.
immediately try to work to pass, because the best time to pass is going to be within that first few seconds when you hit the ground.
Absolutely.
Still have a delay here in between round 1 and 2. And one of the things that was interesting is these guys didn't necessarily expend a ton of energy. It wasn't a super high pace first round. It was more of a tactical back and forth, really just small movements, a lot of just small mini transitions. So,
and as we said earlier, we don't know how the judges scored that first round. It could have went either way, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of a coin toss as to what they were looking for or what they were thinking.
Hardrock MMA 91 brought to you live on Facebook or bluegrassmma.com or the YouTube page. Yes. We're here at the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. I'm Kelly Patrick, alongside Scott Wegman, David McKinney. Appreciate you tuning in.
This is, one of the things I was thinking interesting. Hard Rock usually they'll do, 6 shows a year, and they'll try to here just 2 weeks later, and that's got to be tough putting together 2 full fight cards within just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And to have that many, and to still have 14, 15 fights.
We're already scheduled for the next Hard Rock fight, so Hard Rock really seems to do. Matchmaker Brandon Hard Rock Higdon does a really good job at scheduling not only for this event, but he's scheduled a couple of Eddie.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be able to fight. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of MMA. And one of the things that's nice too is now Hard Rock has been doing great in Kentucky. Now coming up to Northern Kentucky, getting a lot of that Ohio crossover as well and even a couple of guys from Indiana on this card as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And they definitely have made a good impression, and Brandon's always put on a good show. So that makes a big difference. Even if the promoter does a really good show or whatever, but he's an ass, no one really want to work with him. So, but Brandon's a good guy all the way around, and everybody likes him, and so that makes it really good that people want to fight with him. He definitely will. He'll put you in your place if you need it.
Anytime a promotion, it's got to be a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
91 events with 100 on the horizon coming up, which for Hard Rock MMA, and Brandon and Vanessa had they did about the first actually sold the promotion back in June, and really with B2 Digital and really just kind of helping take the promotion to the next level here in Kentucky. Traded on the stock exchange, one of two promotions that are traded. You've got another promotion now, B2 Digital, which owns Hard Rock MMA.
Trading at BTDG. So that is interesting to follow, the being traded, taking that next step. Is that common among promotions that are local and regional, and then maybe they take the next step? What would be the next step beyond that? Would it be that they're going among different states?
Yeah, I think that's is the question. I haven't really got the impression from Hard Rock that they want to go much further than really Kentucky. Kentucky is a big enough state to be able to support as many shows as they do per year, and they do some shows in Shepherdsville, some in Louisville, all the way down to Bowling Green, and then up here in Northern Kentucky as well. So I don't necessarily get that impression. It wouldn't surprise me though, with the new financial backing and seeing this promotion grow over the past couple of years.
Scott, you fought for Hard Rock before?
I have not.
Okay, but you
unfortunately,
said you had fought in this cage.
I have fought in this exact cage a ton of times, but yeah, not under Brandon, unfortunately. So hopefully one day, though.
I know we were talking.
I'm in my 40s. Maybe he'll do a seniors division or something.
I know we were talking, in the last event. Maybe seeing you back in there at some point. I don't know if I don't know what the status of that is. I won't put you on the spot here.
Oh no, it's good. It's just once you hit the big 4-0,
right?
you gotta see Dr. Sparks, and make a day trip out of it. And, but again, it's a lot of people are like, oh, it's a giant pain and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's for your own well-being. So that way you just don't have some dude hopping in there that's not in shape.
You're 40 now. At what age did you make your debut?
I was 33.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I started late. It was just took time, and really I kind of did the same thing. I grew up boxing and things like that, and then really just started doing it in order to stay in shape over the wintertime. And I was helping people get ready for fights and things like that. And then my coach was like, hey, you should compete once. And I'm like, I don't really want to. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, okay, I like this. So then you go 13 fights later, and you're like, well, I guess I'll. It's just something to do.
Yeah, it's one of those that a lot of people who do it, they say, hey, I'll do it once, and then all of a sudden that you wake up the next day and you have 13 fights under your belt.
Yeah. So amongst all this stuff that's happening,
Yeah, you still got the two guys in the cage who are
trying to stay warm by moving around a little bit, but they're also trying to stay composed, not think too much. I'm a smiley, funny guy, so honestly, if I was one of them at this point in time, I would have called my opponent over and we would have just talked in the middle of the cage and played rock, paper, scissors or something for a little bit. I really would have.
That's how they decide the rest of the fight?
Yeah, I'd be like, let's just rock, paper, scissors this 2 out of 3 and we'll call it good.
That's if your opponent would have been down for that. You
That's
never
true.
know.
Well,
you never know. These two guys could be in two very different states of mind right now. We don't know. If you're their corner, what are you telling them right now? Obviously, you're fine, relax, just stay focused, all the cliche stuff.
Yeah.
But what can you tell them to help? Because we don't know how long this is going to take.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like really either corner is doing too much in terms of talking to their guy. I think that there's probably a tipping point where there's too much talk and too much coaching and too much.
There is, because then all of a sudden it becomes you start thinking too much and your corner's getting amped up, and then like I said, you don't know when you're going to go again, so then you calm back down and then they amp you up again, and those spurts, those little spurts like that, they drain you. And, you also got to think, too, they're probably standing in there and, kind of wondering, well, we've been stopped this long. What's going on back there that it's taken this long? Yeah, so then you got that on their mind, too, I'm sure. So it's not just a matter of, oh, let's get this going, I want to fight. There's definitely a lot that hopefully they keep a clear head and are able to get through it when it comes back time.
Seems like the corner of Matt Moore to me, and Matt seemed to be keeping it pretty lighthearted, having fun, doing a little paper, rock, scissors with Scott. You can't see it quite on the live stream, but Scott is suggesting to Moore that he gets Kump to play paper, rock, scissors with him. We'll see how that goes. Any luck on any traction there?
No, I don't think he bit into it. I was trying to kind of get him to relax a little bit and maybe loosen up, but he's too focused. He started to play with me until I pointed to go play with his opponent, and then he didn't want to do it.
This is the first 3 fights of the night went pretty off without a hitch, it seemed, and
Here comes the commission.
Okay.
The commission and Dr. Sparks.
Awesome.
Our man Todd Neal. Dr. Sparks. Round of applause for them, maybe? Yes.
Been a long couple of weeks for those guys, I know.
Yeah.
Yes. Now they get that cheer from the crowd.
Get back to your seats, folks. We are going to get underway with round number 2.
It's the first round of applause I think Todd Neal's ever gotten.
in his life. No, when he was Peter Perfect. Todd was actually a professional wrestler at one point on the local circuit.
But he was a heel, I'm sure,
He
right?
was a heel.
Yeah, so I can't imagine.
Back to it.
This is interesting. Guys going from 0 to 100, immediately.
Go from idle back right into it.
Moore misses that kick, and now Kampf, interestingly enough, almost seemed like he gave up that position there, but immediately now working. That's sort of a reverse Kimura here. Has the arm over the back of the head.
Getting right back into a somewhat.
Yeah.
And it's tough if you're Kampf in this position. You might like being in this position, but the fact is you got to
win the fight
unless you submit the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't let him throw the leg over. Pull out.
Earlier we were talking about amateur fights. You can try to work on certain things, but there has to come a time where you're thinking, okay, I got to win this fight.
Yeah. Now Moore looking to try to stand up now, has his base here, really just smothering Kampf and not really looking to try to pass the guard here, interestingly enough.
Watch that right arm.
He seems to be content to hang out in the guard. The guard now is open for him to potentially pass. Now it's closed again, the body triangle.
Elbows to the face are not allowed. If they were, that would be significant in this position.
And that's something else, as a young guy, if you're Kampf's corner, you say, hey, you know what, if you want to go pro, you got to think, man, you always have to think that those elbows could be coming.
Yeah.
And you don't want to give yourself bad habits to where you're leaving your face out there to potentially get elbowed.
Yeah.
John House stands him up.
Good.
Kampf bringing it to Moore.
Throwing some combinations now. Some 1-2s are landing nice. Good double jab. Just slips out of the way.
Lands a nice jab there, right to the nose, bridge of the nose. Moore shakes it off, which usually means he's been punched a couple of times.
Yeah. He's got a nice jab going for Kellen.
Kampf really just digging in.
You can tell he works with Charlie Stafford on his boxing.
Really good boxing there, and you saw he seemed to be getting a lot of power from not even really, bouncing into those punches a lot.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. He was pretty stationary when he was throwing it. Just using his distance and using his reach really well.
Under 10 seconds left to go here in round number 2. Matt Moore back on top again. Now looking to try to posture up and throw some shots. And again, guys, that's another question of Kampf may have done a little bit more damage, but he was in a bad position for 2/3 of that round at least.
Yeah.
I could certainly see 2 of the 3 judges scoring that for Moore.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. That's what I was going to ask. How would you score it if you were a judge? I know you have the judging experience. The Kampf seems to be trying to work on some things here, but maybe if you're in his corner, this might be the time where you say, all right, now it's time to try to finish this guy. If you can, not saying that he's not trying to finish him, but maybe saying, hey, in order to win this fight, you need to finish because you probably are down 2 rounds on at least 2 scorecards.
What is Stanford telling Kampf right now? Come on, man, we got to bring this to him.
That's probably what he's telling him, and I think if you're Moore's corner,
guard.
Yeah, I think if you're Moore's corner, you're saying let's do more of the same.
Yeah,
you're beating a guy who, really doesn't seem to be. Not that he's not interested in the fight, but he seems to be. If he's comfortable laying on his back trying to submit you, and if you're comfortable enough that you're not going to get submitted, which you've shown through 2 rounds, he hasn't really pulled off anything that was super close. You got to think, hey, let's go back to your bread and butter and let's get a double leg and grind this thing out on top.
Yeah, if it's working for you, just keep doing it.
Set to go here, round number 3. Matt Moore, Kalen Kampf. Moore is the southpaw here. Lands a nice short right hand there. Couldn't tell if that was an uppercut or not. There's a left hand that lands.
Oh, caught him with a head kick a little bit.
And Kampf needs to keep his hands up here.
Yeah.
I guess Moore's corner maybe said, hey, let's throw some punches
Comes a knee
here.
to the head.
Has control of that neck here. Trying to take it to the ground.
Is he trying to guillotine? I don't know.
First time we've seen Kampf on top here. Moore looking to maybe
sweep a little bit, but it's not really going for him.
Yeah, has that underhook on the right side.
Kampf trying to move to side control.
Almost has that pass here. He's in half guard right now.
Back to guard. Well, let's see.
Oh, it's got like a. Well, Nelson rolled him. Nice sweep. That was really nice.
And this is a
He's got him
potential
caught on that
submission
too.
here.
Yeah, kind of a neck crank.
Kampf right back to the body triangle.
Scoot him over to this side.
And this, you're probably aware if you're a Kampf's corner, you're telling him he has to get up. He can't hang out here for the rest of the fight.
Almost just abandon this and get up.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm sure it's not that easy, but you don't want to be on your back.
And to Matt Moore's credit, he's been doing a good job of staying heavy on top and not giving Kampf any openings.
Yeah.
And Moore has brought a lot of the fight to Kampf.
Now looking to try to pass on that right side is Matt Moore, and he has did a nice job pinning that knee down and getting that pass. Kampf now back in half guard.
Watch the angle, man. I need you to keep.
Kampf not trying to hip escape out. Now back to that full guard. That's tough because you're in your guard and that's a safe position, but that doesn't win fights.
Yeah.
Good. He ain't gonna hit you off his back. Good. Watch his hips.
Moore now postures up here in the guard of Kalen Kampf. Kalen pulls him back down now in that body triangle.
That's it. Push his head away. Shots to the body on the right side. Good. Use that head.
And now it looks like
See, the
Kampf
ref's
maybe.
going to stand him up.
This is your third and final round, folks, right here.
Can't see that there's much time left on this. Go for the knockout if you're Kampf. Nice.
Kampf landing some shots here.
Definitely not scared to trade.
He's got his hands down here. Moore has his hands up. There's a right hook that lands over the top.
If I'm Kampf's corner, I'm telling him he has to get a knockout here to win.
Yeah, there's, I believe, 10 seconds left.
Charlie Stanford yelling at him to finish here.
Time.
It's a good fight.
Good fight between two, guys with seem to have a lot of skills on the ground between both guys, and it seemed to really just be more of a stalemate on the ground. And when they stood and trade there for that last 15 or 20 seconds, that was pretty exciting, and it's going to be interesting to see how the judges score this one.
Yep, for sure.
We thought that Matt Moore most likely took the first 2 rounds, but did Kampf do enough in that third round to take at least that round? Definitely a good growth experience for both guys there. 2 guys with 4 fights combined between them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly expect to see both these guys back in the cage soon.
Definitely hope so. They both showed up to fight and dealt with the extended break in between rounds very, very well and came out. And
For the decision, the official decision, give it up both for Callan and Matt.
2 guys who showed a lot of poise in there early in their careers.
Yeah.
After 3 hard-fought rounds, the 28 for your winner by unanimous decision, Matt Moore.
All 3 judges giving Matt Moore what we would think were those first 2 rounds, and
Great
then
job, both of you.
likely giving Kampf the 3rd round.
Had to have been. I was very impressed by Matt Moore.
Yeah, for sure.
I was expecting Kampf to be maybe more well-versed with the ground game than Moore, and he may be, but regardless, Moore brought the fight to him.
Showed some good wrestling there in that fight as well. Did Matt Moore. Young guy, just still 19 years old is Matt Moore, so definitely a lot of room to grow. And you get a win over a guy from a top level gym. That's a nice feather under your cap. And now you're 2-2 in your career. Now that's something to work with.
Absolutely.
10 more fights, a belt on the line, a female 115 fight, and 4 pro fights still coming. No, I'm not too excited. Me neither. Or forget to breathe from time to time. All right, let's go ahead and bring out our next fighters. Fighting out of the red corner, Dalton Wild Boy Coleman.
Moving to a 180-pound catchweight bout, Dalton Coleman making his way to the cage here. 3-6 representing the BG Bad Boys. And speaking of a guy who just fought 2 weeks ago, Dalton Coleman, we saw him pick up the win over Dale Tossi at Hardrock MMA 90. And I get the feeling from talking to Dalton Coleman that he's a guy who would probably fight every weekend if he could. Known as the Wild Boy is Dalton Coleman. I think he got a new haircut too. He's 3-6 on his career. Guy who stays active, as we mentioned. Definitely is a guy who likes to bring it in his fights.
I assume that's a Louisville Cardinal tattoo on his chest.
He's got a Louisville Cardinal, and then he's got the Wild Boy in case anyone should forget his nickname. I hope it sticks, because if you change your nickname, it's kind of tough to get the tattoo changed.
Yeah.
Chris Ness, 32 years old, representing Patriot MMA. He fought, his first 5 fights were from 2009 to 2011, and then came back at Hard Rock 89, where we saw him take on Colin Kampf in his fight and got submitted in the first round. So 0-6 record for Chris Ness, but really kind of almost kind of taking a second stab at his career here, moving and now representing Patriot MMA, fighting close to home here. See Daryl Ray with a unique T-shirt in the corner of Chris Ness. And Daryl Ray is definitely a colorful guy.
Yeah.
Patriot MMA. The unpatriotic shorts here from Chris Ness. He doesn't really fit in with the rest of the guys from his team. There's no American Eagle boxer briefs or anything. He just goes with just a plain black board shorts.
Yeah, well.
I think we mentioned last time, he looks like he could be, I guess he would be the older brother of Julian Lane.
That is a good call, for sure.
Of course, Julian Lane, multiple-time Ultimate Fighter veteran.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is at a catchweight of 180 pounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 179 pounds, representing BG Bad Boys from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Dalton Wild Boy Coleman. And his opponent, fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue corner, weighing in at 180 pounds, representing Patriot MMA from Covington, Kentucky, Chris Ness.
Chris Ness in the blue corner with the black trunks. Dalton Coleman in the red corner with the black trunks and the red glove tape. John House is the third man in the cage for this fight. Interesting, I heard both corners telling their guys to take their time.
Starts it off with a leg kick.
Right down the pipe, 1-2.
Hands down low here for Chris Ness.
Yeah.
Kick 1-2. Get my hand up.
Nice leg kick there from Ness. Lands.
Oh. Right hand was glancing.
Underhook.
Looks like Coleman was the one that was looking for the takedown, but now Ness has him up against the cage here.
Nice trip.
Looking to go into side control is Ness.
Once again, the cage is right there.
Coleman has hold of that left arm of Chris Aness. Try to spin out there.
Oh, big right hand dropped down on him.
Big heavy right hand there from Aness.
He's letting him back up. Hands up though.
Yeah, Coleman got up with his hands down.
Comes a suplex, belly to back.
Still has control of that head there.
Yeah.
From the side. Gonna be tough to do much from there. So he was turning the wrong way. Now Aness back on the top, knee on belly here.
And he slides it over in the mount. Almost.
Postured up fully here.
Yep,
Hasn't
there he
thrown
goes.
any shots yet.
Would expect the ref to probably stop this at any time. He's leaning in. It's over.
It's over.
Chris Aness getting his first win here after starting 0-6 on his career, now 1-6.
He took quite a bit of time off in between his losses.
Took about 6 years off. Came back and now picks up his first win inside the cage.
Very respectable way to handle an 0-6 record. Probably worked hard, did some serious training, come back.
Yep, for sure.
Winner, referee stoppage due to unanswered strikes, Chris Aness.
Chris Aness, 32 years old, finally gets his first win inside of the cage. Dalton Coleman dropping to 3-7.
Now, we had a little bit of an intermission earlier. We're scheduled now for a 5-minute intermission. You think we'll have that?
I guess we'll let Jason Weinel tell us.
Upload your pictures from tonight's event. Coming up at our intermissions, you will have the opportunity right back here next to the Bud Light trailer to take pictures with our ring girls. Upload those to our live album in the Hardrock MMA app. But not yet. No pictures, Charlie. No. My wife got mad last time. All right, let's go ahead and bring out the fighters of our next fight. Fighting out of the red corner, David Schwab.
David Schwab coming in from Vision MMA, making his debut here. 27 years old. And of course, Vision, one of the most respected gyms in the Cincinnati area. He's going to be taking on Billy Sanders out of Patriot MMA. You see Schwab coming in with a gi top. And Vision, they've produced some of the best fighters in the Cincinnati area. Of course, Daniel Strauss, Dominique Steele, Jeremy Pinder, who we'll see later on. A lot of great guys. Roger Bowling. A lot of great guys coming out of that gym. And if you're going to go into your first fight, definitely a good group of guys to have backing you.
Absolutely. He's actually from Vision Dayton, which is the brother gym to the Vision Cincinnati one.
Still a good gym to have behind you, though, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You have Muhammad trains up there.
Muhammad Abdullah.
Yep.
Established pro.
They have an abundance of guys up there.
In an unrelated topic, my vote for haircut of the night. Just saying. All right, and his opponent fighting out of the B2 Digital blue corner, Billy Sanders.
Billy Sanders coming in, as we mentioned, Patriot MMA fighter. 33 years old, 1-0 on his career thus far. We saw him fight back at Hardrock MMA 89. Stopped a fighter in Cody Sharon, who had, I believe, 17 fights at that point in his debut. He won via injury, TKO due to injury. But nevertheless, it is a victory on the scorecard, on the record. Patriot MMA. I believe they're 2-0 so far tonight. Brandon Wren and Chris Innes already picking up wins. See Daryl Ray again in the corner. Neil Mullins, also one of the coaches there. And also Travis Branham, who trains with him. So I guess technically 3-0 on the night so far. Billy Sanders getting the last look over. Definitely one of the things about the Patriot guys is I think they'll pretty much fight anyone. They don't care who's put in front of them. Billy made his debut against Cody Sharon, who had I think 17 fights at the time when they fought, and made his debut against that guy. That's a tough debut.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is at a catch weight of 200 pounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 196 pounds, representing Vision MMA from Dayton, Ohio, David Schwab. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue corner, weighing in at 199 pounds, representing Patriot MMA from Covington, Kentucky, Billy Killer Leaf Ninja Sanders.
What was that? What was his nickname?
Killer Leaf Ninja.
Killer Leaf Ninja. They bring the nicknames from Patriot MMA.
200-pound catchweight bout here. David Schwab in the black and red. Billy Sanders in the white. John House, referee for this one. Cage door locked. John House. Make sure the judges are paying attention. Wakes them up. Sanders comes out southpaw here. Schwab throwing a couple of stiff jabs there.
Yep.
One landed right on the chin of Billy Sanders.
Oh, he caught him. That's
him
almost
away.
over. You could almost see that.
Yeah, was there some blood already? Maybe
Looked like
not.
he really stunned him.
Yeah, I saw Sanders holding his either mouth or jaw after that.
Yeah, he
Big
caught
left
him with
hand landed.
He threw an inside leg kick and stepped down with a right hand off that.
But Sanders
Taking some hard shots now.
Wow.
what up on top here.
Wow.
Sanders
He's
trying
getting
to-
back up, though. He's working for it.
Sanders caught one earlier, but he is not letting it slow him down right now. Wow.
Yep.
That guy caught one, and then he's going off with the strike.
over the
body
left
kick
eye.
again.
Big welt already open, forming over the left eye there. Nice body kick there from Schwab.
Attacking the body big time. Oh,
Turns his back though,
swinging for the fences.
trying to land that big right hand again.
Sanders, consistent with the Patriot MMA, looks almost as if he's enjoying as the fight gets more and more intense.
Yeah, he has you can see a big welt already forming on the left side of his ribs.
Almost
Those
looks like
big
he's
kicks.
smiling.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's smiling or if he's in pain. There's a
I think he's in pain because he hasn't closed his jaw since he got dropped in the very beginning, so I'm not for sure if it's
maybe broken.
well, yeah, that was almost close. He just stopped to look away for a
Yeah,
second.
I'm not sure what the John House saw an illegal kick or what, but that sounded like it was definitely to the thigh. Not sure what the stoppage is for.
I think it was a warning on the inside leg kick.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounded. I heard the slap of the thigh there. So usually you hear more of a thump if it's the cup.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Sanders will get time to recover here.
Sanders is taking a few deep breaths, almost to the point where it kind of makes you wonder if he's going to puke.
Yeah, he's
doing a couple little belches, so it's kind of.
Remember at the beginning of the round, Sanders, what looked like Schwab had caught him. And
he's also been blasted with a couple of nice body kicks too. That there was some redness on the side of on his left side. It looks like it's not there anymore.
So they're giving him a timeout right now if you're wondering what's happened, because he said it was the inside kick caught him high. So they're giving him, you get 5 minutes if you get kicked in the cup to recoup. So it's giving him a nice breather right now.
John House getting things started here again.
There we go.
Looks like I can't tell if Sanders is in pain or what, but he looked a little ginger, but no.
This is how Sanders seems to react.
He's playing coy
to
there.
adversity as he gets a lot
a head kick from Schwab would be really good right now.
There's a body kick there.
If he changed it just a little higher.
Looks like he might be trying to set that up too. He likes those kicks.
Schwab looks like his nose there may be some blood coming from
There
Schwab's.
definitely is.
Yeah, they're both bleeding. Got a nosebleed from one, and Sanders, his left eye is looking a little swollen.
Yeah, and Sanders ducking right into that kick every time.
Oh, now he's rocked. Oh,
he might be
that's it.
done.
That's done.
And that was a delayed reaction there.
Yeah.
Turn your back and the ref's going to stop it.
Yeah, that's stunned and down. When you stand in front of each other and you swing like you're throwing baseballs at each other, one of those is eventually going to catch.
Heavy shot there from Schwab that earned him the stoppage. They were both swinging heavy, as you mentioned, Scott, and eventually one of those you figured was going to land, and it did. And Sanders, at first it looked like he was just standing there, and then I think a little bit of a delayed reaction as it.
When he got caught, it definitely caught him flush, and he kind of stood him up, and then as he started to come back, he just kind of rotated to the left and turned and kind of went down. And
Sanders back to his feet here now. Doctor taking a look. He looks to be okay.
Credit to Sanders, really, for taking a couple serious shots early in that fight. The kicks and the punch to the jaw.
Yeah, the first one that dropped.
And he stuck with it.
2 minutes and 45 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by knockout, David Schwab.
David Schwab getting the win here. Nice knockout there in your debut.
All right, folks, we are going to take a quick, and I repeat quick, may not even be a full 5 minutes. When quick
Set your clocks here.
Head out, get you a refill.
Heading to intermission, and we will be back right after the end of the intermission.
5 minutes, wink, wink. Right back. Hey guys, remember our ring girls will be right over here for pictures, so you can upload those to our Hardrock MMA app in the live hour.
KTFO.
Make your way back to your seats. We're going to be getting right back to some Hard Rock MMA action. Want to remind everybody
Back here live at Hard Rock MMA 91, just about set to go here after our first intermission. Kelly, some crazy action so far, and I know we're got some more crazy action here coming up.
Really do. It's a great night of fights, as always, from Hard Rock. Brandon Hard Rock Higdon and Vanessa do a great job of putting together a consistent event with a lot of fights, and they're always very entertaining. Want to give a shout out to Adam Gomez. The UGI Ultimate Grappling Invitational in Georgetown, Kentucky will be August 12th. There'll be a few fighters that I train with at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu of Kentucky. Dalton Smith, Brody O'Leary, and Lance Lawrence should be competing on that card, the Four Horsemen. So I want to give a special shout out. It's a great event that Gomez does in Georgetown. He's the first to bring professional grappling to the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot at the last event, how much grappling has really grown in Kentucky and just in general. And I know Adam has been doing grappling events for a long time, and really cool to see the growth, especially in Kentucky and especially down in the Georgetown, Lexington area. So definitely be sure to check that out here coming up. Would you say August
12th in Georgetown, yes. Saturday, August 12th. So it's been a very action-packed card thus far. We'll be back with Vincent Stotzel versus Nick Wells, 155-pound matchup.
Rematch from Hard Rock MMA 89, one of the bloodiest fights I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just glad none of it got on us here, cage side at commentary.
Yeah. Nick has a almost a 3-inch long scar goes down from between his eyes just a little bit, all the way about almost to his hairline. And yeah, it was a big one. And the thing was, is like he came in the week after that and started attending Sunday Fun Days. So when he first showed up, I was like, yeah, I was commentating your fight. You're not sparring today. He's like, I just want to punch bags. And I'm like, good, because you're not like getting any contact for a while there.
Did he want to?
No, he was smart about it. He knew that he obviously, I was like, you know, you're going to have a bad scar. That's something that can possibly open up all the time now. He comes in and spars a lot and things like that. And so far it's held up nice. I told him just a minute ago to keep his face off the cage, and we'll see how well he listens for that tonight.
This song cracks me up. You guys know this song?
What is it?
Big John. He weighs about 245. He stands 6'6" with the just going on and on about this guy's figure, about how he's very manly and you don't want to mess with him.
I know a fighter out of Cleveland, John Hawk, used to use that as his walkout song. So.
Big John.
He definitely, that's his nickname as well, Big John Hawk. So.
Real broad shoulders and small at the hip or something like that. Just describing his silhouette the entire time.
Moving on here, lightweight action at Hard Rock MMA 91. Vincent Stetzel making his way to the red corner. As we mentioned, this is a rematch. These guys first squared off back at Hard Rock MMA 89 in May, and Nick Wells was winning the fight, I believe. Scott, you and I both scored the first 2 rounds for Nick Wells.
Yeah, absolutely.
But a nasty cut was open over the left eye of Nick Wells, and the fight was stopped in the 3rd round, and Vincent Stetzel went home with the win.
Yeah, the fight was really good. You know, it was a good back and forth. They traded a lot on the feet, and when they were on the ground, it was really good back and forth too. Nick kind of dominated a little bit, you know, give the edge to him. And then in the 2nd round, he shot in for that takedown. And when they went, they hit the fence, and his face, his forehead hit. And it was like somebody opened up a faucet. And I mean, you couldn't pour the blood off him fast enough as it was coming out.
Nick Wells coming in has an 0-2 record. Of course, one of those losses is the loss to Stetzel. Also took on Jake Cools in his debut. So a couple of tough opponents in his first 2 fights. And, you know, this might be one where you can kind of throw the record out the door, out the window. And, you know, they've squared off once before, and it's interesting to see kind of the rematch here a couple of months later.
Wells has some solid fan support from the crowd here.
Yeah. You know, his first fight, you know, he went against Cools, who I believe is out of G-Force. And it was a good scrap for him. And then the second fight, like I said, he was doing really well. He had made some adjustments. And, you know, it was just misfortune that, you know, again, that happens. And if you hit the fence, the majority of the time, you hit it with your face, the fence is always going to win. So.
And Wells, a 4-time varsity wrestler at Western Brown High School, and he showed off some wrestling in his last couple of fights as well, especially the fight against Stetzel. So we'll see if we see more of the same here.
Yeah, absolutely.
This competition is in the 150.
As we mentioned earlier, Stetzel's, I guess it's his younger brother, as Anthony fought earlier.
His older brother.
Older brother, Anthony.
Representing Team Stetzel from Cincinnati, Ohio, Vincent Stetzel. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner, weighing in at 156 pounds, representing Immortal Way from Cincinnati, Ohio, Nick Smiley.
Lightweight action here. Vincent Stetzel in the white with the gray trim. Nick Wells in the red and black. John House, referee for this one. And yeah, as we mentioned, Vincent's older brother, Anthony, did compete earlier tonight in, I believe, our second fight of the night. Vincent just 20 years old. This fight, the first time, was fight of the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys immediately are trying to recreate that performance.
Yeah, Stetzel comes out firing fast, too.
Some big overhand rights. It's like he's
Now he shoots.
looking for that takedown here.
Nick going for a guillotine.
Yeah, has control of his neck.
That looks pretty solid.
Yeah, this is
Lifting
tight.
him.
Nick doing a good job here of getting his hips in.
Yep, nice switches on his
Nice
back.
back here.
Wow. This is some
Nick
good action.
Nick in half guard here. Looks like he might be looking for an arm triangle if he can step that right knee out.
Well,
Get the side
he's
control.
Working for it.
Stetzel is trying to throw him off. Nick
Wells maintaining position.
look like he might have this. It's going to be tough to finish from this position. He needs to switch his hips over.
Yeah.
Basically sit on his right hip is going to be the easiest way to
Tap.
finish.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Stetzel taps. And Nick Wells immediately, you see, he was gracious to Vincent Stetzel for giving him that rematch.
Absolutely.
Nick Wells finally able to pick up the first win of his career. He's going to move up to 1 and 2.
1 minute and 4 seconds of the very first round. Your winner, tap out via arm triangle, Nick Smiley.
How's that have to feel? He starts out 0-2, and he
Really good.
gets a monkey
Yeah, I
off
mean,
his back.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely has, like I said, he's been coming in, he's been training good, making improvements. And, you know, like I said, the last fight he did really well, and it was just a misfortunate event that he got a cut. So it's just one of those things that happens. So
Yeah, it definitely was a tough to see him take a loss on his record in a fight where he performed really well.
yeah, again, it's one of those things too. Like you've had, when you've had fights that go that way, it's kind of like, do you go out there and you fight your ass off and you win and you do really well?
You're straight killing it. Always a good one with the kids. And whoever Bill, not so many with the ring girls, bro. Your wife can see these. Your wife can see them. All right. Keep it up. Download the Hardrock MMA app. Upload your pictures from tonight. Just don't get caught. It's evidence. It's on the internet. Wow. Fine print.
This next fight, we'll see Daryl Ray and Patriot MMA make their way back to the cage. As DJ Smith takes on Ethan McGee of Vision MMA, 145-pound bout.
Yeah, DJ Smith, interesting. Took his first fight in more than 6 years back in May. Picked up a win over Jeremy Langley, representing, as I mentioned, Patriot MMA out of Covington, Kentucky. 5-9 record. And I think you can kind of probably throw out the first, portion of his career, and really kind of almost a start, second fresh start. I almost kind of want to know here.
Yeah.
Extremely tall guy.
Yeah, for sure. For that weight class, definitely really tall. It'd be good to see what he does as far as like if he's going to try to stand with Ethan or if he's going to try to go to the ground. Ethan's really well-rounded too, so it'll be a good fight.
Ethan McGee also making his return to the cage, but I talked to DJ Smith, after the last Hard Rock show, and really, really passionate guy. There were some interesting circumstances at the last show, and he was pretty fired up about his warrior spirit and how much he loves being a fighter and how he knows what he's doing and every time he steps into the cage. So really interesting, kind of passionate guy.
Absolutely.
35 years old now, though, which is another, coming back after 6 years off and now 35 years old. It's got to be tough, getting back into the cage after such a long extended layoff.
Yeah, and the thing is too is like, you worry about the ring rust, and then you also.
Of the B2 Digital Blue Corner, Ethan McGee.
Ethan McGee fighting for the first time since October 2015 when he lost to David Rankin. David is undefeated. I believe David was like 5-0 or 6-0 at that point. It was a title fight. And Ethan McGee, also the former Spartan FC featherweight champion from back in 2013. This guy took his fight when he first started fighting. I think he was just 18 years old, and representing Vision. Just a bunch of tough guys coming out of that camp, and now finally getting back in the cage. Lost the last 4 fights in a row though for Ethan McGee, and now.
Yeah, and don't let that fool you, because Ethan doesn't take easy fights on people. So, again, it's one of those things where records, you can't go off that. And again, you're fighting a Vision guy. So anytime you're fighting a Vision guy, again, it's not going to be a walkthrough in the park.
And McGee, a guy who's been in 4 or 5 title fights in his career.
Yeah.
So, and also has 15 total fights.
145-pound weight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 146 pounds, representing Psychopath MMA from Ellesmere, Kentucky, DJ the Roman Smith. And his opponent fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue corner, weighing in at 144 pounds, representing Vision MMA from Cincinnati, Ohio, Ethan McGee.
You hear the loud ovation there for Ethan McGee. I know a lot of people excited to see him back in the cage here. Getting almost 2 years out of the cage.
Yeah.
Still just 23 years old, though, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. The thing with Ethan is he's going to want to stand. His boxing is really good, so he's definitely going to want to show that off.
Yeah, one of the things never seen him fight live before, the striking of Ethan. Very technical striker, whereas DJ is going to be a lot more unorthodox.
DJ with the big height advantage into his guard.
Has a rubber guard here.
Yeah.
Working off of his back. I was going to say Ethan with that nice ankle pick takedown.
Yep.
Dropping levels and going all the way down to the ankle. Rubber guard's an interesting position, especially for MMA, because it's a very defensive position. But with really long limbs like a guy like DJ Smith has, sometimes it's just kind of there, and that's really the first thing you grab onto. Ethan McGee now looking at in half guard, dropping that left shoulder into the chin of DJ Smith, and that is a way to finish a Von Flue choke if DJ would have kept control of that head. Ethan now
popping up, throwing some punches, some knees
nice
to the
knee
body.
to the body there. Ethan now teeing off here.
Yep. He's going back to the legs.
I'm surprised
Go for a slam.
I'm surprised he didn't try to just tee off there and try to finish the fight.
Told you he was going to wrestle. Keep it up.
DJ Smith again on his back as Ethan McGee in half guard.
Some ground and pound from Ethan. Big hammer fist.
Yeah, nice hammer fist. He did a good job using that elbow to push himself off. This might get stopped here. John House taking a close look. And John House. And it's DJ seems to be okay, but you see a guy teeing off like that, and you're not really trying to advance your position. The referee, more often than not, is going to stop the fight.
Yep.
Of course, John House, experienced ref in there, done a lot of shows. And Ethan McGee, though, the storyline here,
after his hiatus,
almost 2 years off, comes back and looks and showed some wrestling.
Okay.
It's interesting, but then finishes the fight with his strikes. And
ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute and 51 seconds of the very first round. Your winner by referee stoppage due to unanswered strikes, Ethan McGee.
And true to form, Ethan McGee looks like he's pretty indifferent towards the win.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy with a ton of talent, and still, like as we mentioned, just 23 years old. Hopefully see him back in there more, and hopefully this is really a resurgence of the career of Ethan McGee.
I like how he insisted on putting his Coors Light T-shirt on for the for the photo.
I'm sure that's where he's headed now, is to potentially get we don't have Coors Light here, but maybe he brought some of his own.
He's 23. He can enjoy himself tonight. He deserves it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight brings us to our female fight of the night. It is in the unknown weight division. Their weight.
What?
Let's bring out first, fighting out of the red corner,
You come in.
Faith Hensley.
Come to a Hard Rock show and you get a little bit of stand-up comedy from the ring announcer and Jason Weinel. Sometimes, though, you have to make sure it's Jason because he does have a twin brother, but his twin brother has glasses. So I went up to his brother at one of the shows and he had glasses on. I said, Jason, when did you get glasses? And he was like, who?
Ew.
I'm not Jason. Anyway, Faith Hensley making her way out to the red corner. Faith representing Ian Lawler's Adversity Training Center. 0-2 on her career thus far. Had a couple of tough fights though. Fought Emily Prince, Martial Arts Academy, and then took on Genia Gooden, who is, I believe, 5-1 or 6-1 at this point. So, a couple of tough fights for Faith Hensley in her first two outings. One of the things that kind of made me laugh when I talked to Faith, lady after said she played football when she was 10. She was a lineman because she said if her brother can do it, she can do it as well.
Fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner, Yoko Kawas.
Yoko Kawas, 1-2 in her career. Comes from a more traditional martial arts background. Does some Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, trains at Jeet Kune Do Unlimited in Cincinnati. She started out actually boxing. This was her entry into combat sports, but has been sort of a Ronin, played pretty much every sport you can think of, and then also was on the University of Cincinnati dance team for a couple of years.
Nice.
Back when she was in college as well. And a lot of people always ask about the women fighting. The women typically steal the show more often than not, so let's see if Faith and Yoko can do that tonight.
Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at who knows what.
Weinel's running with the weight joke.
Yeah, he is.
Introducing fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner, weighing in, I'm not asking, representing High Performance MMA from Cincinnati, Ohio, Yoko Kawas.
120-pound catch weight bout here is the official weight of record.
We'll say it.
For those wondering. Faith Hensley in the camo with the black top, Yoko Kawas in the black with the black top. John House is the referee for this fight. Both fighters coming out southpaw here. Nice jab there from Faith Hensley, and she eats a right hand of her own. Faith looking to try to grab the clinch here. They're up against the cage.
Nice underhook. Get your hip to that same side. Pressure, pressure,
Some good knees into clinch from Yoko.
Yeah, tough to get a ton of power though off of when your back's on the cage, but I still don't want anybody kneeing me.
You're fine. You're fine. Head war. Head war.
Crossface there from Yoko. She tries to create some space. Got to keep her hands up here though.
Yeah, reaching for that.
Another knee there from Kawas. Faith Hensley just aggressive with this clinch here up against the cage, even though she's taking a couple of shots.
Head war. Get it back. Get it back. Nice.
Looks like she might be trying to go for the takedown here.
Double or single. Change levels to go.
Neither fighter seems too eager to bring this to the ground.
I need some punishment.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. A lot of fighters will try to fight in this clinch.
Knees.
Faith's corner, though, is telling her to try to change levels and look for that takedown. She hasn't been able to yet, and the reason why is because Yoko has that whizzer on her right arm. For a fighter who wants to stay on their feet, that's the first thing you learn is that whizzer.
Yeah, definitely so. You want to be able to have control on that.
There we go. Inside
I think that changed, when in MMA, when fighters really started using that changed the sort of dominance of wrestlers a lot.
It did.
Inside of the thigh.
And now pretty much every
That
striker
learning how
uses
to choke
it.
them when they shot on you helped out too.
That and the Jose Aldo flying knee, right?
Well, that always works.
Head war, knees.
Faith Hensley with a nice head position up here up against the cage.
Inside leg. Make sure you're breathing.
And again, like a lot of people look at it and they're like, oh, they're just hugging against the fence. That's grueling right there. If you're standing and trading, at least you have time to reset. You get a break. You can kind of breathe in and out. But right here, there's been nonstop movement and grinding into that fence and constantly throwing knees, whether it's to the thighs, some to the body.
And constantly fighting for position here as well.
Yeah.
You'll see both fighters really trying to get these double underhooks, which Faith Hensley has now. Really easy to kind of control your opponent, really steer them on the cage more.
That leg and put her down.
10 seconds left here in round number 1.
Some good knees in the clinch, for sure.
From both fighters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a ton of high-level action there in the first round, but you got to think maybe Faith probably took that on the judges. She really seemed to be the aggressor there.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to a lot of clinch work, and what looks like it's just kind of hugging against the fence is really not.
Yoko spent a lot of that round with her back on the cage, and you got to think that her corner is telling her if you get in that position, you have to get your back off the cage. And Scott, what does she need to do really to kind of circle out?
A couple different things. I mean, you can push that up on the same side you're doing that with. You're using your leg to shove off the cage. As we always call it, you're throwing a grenade. So when you throw it up over your arm and you're pushing on the same side, you're using the cage to kind of spring you off, and you rotate, and you can turn and come right out. Other way, if she has that whizzer like you were saying earlier, when she gets to a side, fake left, go right, depending on what side you're holding on to, just rotate your hip back out.
See the corner there of Faith Hensley. Saw Yoko take a couple of deep breaths there before the start of round 2. I mean, that was basically 3 minutes of clinch work, and
Yeah.
definitely not easy. I know a lot of guys who show up late when they know what that clinch work is, how you're going to start the class.
Exactly. Comes out, she starts it with a nice leg kick. Nice right hand.
Faith immediately now.
Still throwing right hands. Uppercut. Some little right hooks. Oh,
And
she
Faith-
staggered her. She's coming to the
oh.
left and the right. Still catching her.
Faith just moving forward almost like a zombie.
Yeah.
With her arms straight out looking to try to grab a hold of Yoko, and now does have control of that neck, but she took a lot of punishment
Yeah,
in the
she
process.
ate about half a dozen on the way in.
It looked like she got clipped pretty good there too, and with that one, that right hand.
Table grip at the lower portion of her back. Put your hands together behind her.
Now Hensley again working the clinch up against the cage, and
Table grip behind her
Coas.
back. Lower your, change your level.
The one thing that I see from Coas is it doesn't seem like she can really decide which way she wants to attack and get herself off of the cage. I think she might know what she needs to do, but she can't just pick one tactic and go with it.
Yeah. She's kind of being forced right now.
But of course, that's easier said than done with with someone who is basically leaning all their body weight on you.
Exactly.
She does have that whizzer there on the right arm of Faith Hensley. But Faith doing a good job there of just kind of tucking that elbow in and really kind of eliminating the advantage of the whizzer.
Liver. Nice knee to the liver from Yoko. Some good right hands. Hensley keeps leaning over like she wants to level change and grab that ankle for an ankle pick. But the problem is every time she does it, she gets hit in the body and then hit in the face. So
Either that
brings
or
her right back up.
Yeah, I was either thinking that right leg through maybe for a hip toss.
Yeah. Problem is with Yoko being right up against the fence, if she goes to do it, she's probably going to get stuck against the fence, and you just kind of
tough to load those hips on that.
You give up your back when you go to do it, and then you're stuck. But right now, if she would just circle her hip out when Hensley gives her that much room on a side, like right there, if she just switched her hips and go to her right, she would come right back.
To Faith Hensley's credit, she's able to keep Yoko.
She is. She's doing a really good job of keeping her against the fence and making her carry her weight and making her do all the work. She's really not doing, aside from grinding her into the fence, she really hasn't done much offensive.
And that's the question that the judges are going to have now. We saw Yoko teeing off there and clipping Faith Hensley a couple of times. Do you as a judge, Kelly Patrick, score that for Yoko?
Probably because of the damage. It's difficult to quantify the damage from those clinches. Am I wrong?
I agree.
I mean, it doesn't look easy, and I believe it's, there's a lot of weight on you, and you're having to deal with it.
That is, of course, the question of how judges score, how they decide.
What do you think? Who do you think won that round?
I think that the judges maybe give the first round to Hensley based on the fact that, hey, you give her credit for being able to hold her up against the cage for the first round. But the second round, I think the judges might say, okay, show me a little bit more. And to be quite honest with you, I'm surprised that the referee, John House, hasn't decided to step in and separate them as well.
We did see that from John earlier tonight, where he separated a couple fighters in the clinch.
And to be quite honest with you, I'm never a fan of stand-up or separation at any point, because I always say that if you want to be out of a position, that's your job to learn how to get yourself out of that position.
Exactly.
So the pride rules and everything like that, you're not an advocate of.
And that's the one thing of the fighters the bad positions you can get in a fight, and of course it's easier said than done, of course.
Sure.
But the basically waiting on the referee to kind of give you back to kind of a neutral position is it really is kind of tough if you put yourself in a bad position in the first place.
It's going to be an advantage for one fighter or the other.
Right. And then, of course, there's the question of the bad stand-up or the bad separation and it changing the tide of the fight.
Let's see if Yoko can continue and do more of the striking in this round.
Nice leg kick there from Yoko.
She likes to lead.
2 leg kicks there, and you already see big welts on the thigh of Faith Hensley. Nice knee there, a couple knees to the body. Now Faith Hensley looking for that takedown, but Yoko grabs the neck. This looks like she has a good position here. Doesn't completely have her hands locked just yet. Now
to go for a guillotine?
Yeah, she's
standing guillotine or drop and pull guard?
She has that.
She's got it pretty deep. I would just keep it there as long as you could.
She can raise that right elbow a little bit more, and it looks like Faith is ready to tap.
I think she's
out.
May be out.
Nope. The referee stopped it.
Look, Faith is upset that she.
Oh, restarter.
What?
Yeah, I think that has to be. I think that's a tough position. The referee putting him right back in the same position.
Nope, it's over.
He stopped the fight. He separated him. That needs to be the end of it.
Yeah, if you stop, you stop.
It puts the referee, John House, into a difficult position when it appeared that Faith went out.
I couldn't tell. Yeah, we thought that she definitely went limp too. The thing he needs to do is basically feel.
Yeah, you have to.
If there's a question.
Usually, you can grab the hand and check it and see if they reflex. But again, it's.
And you got to be talking to the fighters as well too, and letting them know I'm going to check, making sure you're still in this.
Exactly. Give me a thumbs up, things like that.
What we saw was Faith. It looked like she was getting ready to tap.
Yeah. Definitely looked like she was getting ready to tap, and then almost started to go a little limp.
In hindsight, she popped right up. That's not what was happening.
Right.
Yeah.
1 minute and 7 seconds of the second round. Your winner, tap out via guillotine choke, Yuko Kumas.
And Faith Hensley, and a lot of times the fighter, if you briefly just, for a quick second, if you do go out, you might not even know. You've seen fighters get knocked out, and they pop back up, and they don't know where they are. They don't know what happened. So, again, fighter safety, the most important thing. You don't want somebody there to be getting choked that's already unconscious.
Yeah, I've had it happen during one of my title fights. I got clipped, and I remember being with it, and I went down, and I remember he was on top, and he was throwing punches. And he went knee on belly, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'm still with it and everything. And then all of a sudden, Gary was like talking to me, and I was like, shit.
And then you're fighting ref.
And at first, I argued with him, and I was like, what, I'm fine. And he was like, no, you took a few. And I was like, oh, okay. And at first, I argued it, and I was like, you know what, he's there.
And that needs to be something you're conscientious of. If someone has a standing guillotine or any variance of that type of a situation, what does it look like I'm doing? She clearly had her hand
ready to tap.
There was some motion toward tapping, and that in itself is a submissive action.
Exactly. Like you're thinking about it, and it's like waiting any longer. Okay, do I act like I'm going to tap? Do I hold it, and then end up going out, and then I don't tap, and then
moving along here to the fight, making his way to the cage here. Nick Jewell, Slick Nasty, definitely a unique character, and this is going to be a really interesting fight here. Nick,
does he have a nickname?
Slick Nasty.
Slick Nasty. Okay.
One of my favorite times covering Nick Jewell. He came out through a flying head kick and proceeded to drop right on his butt. But that was actually his first win. So interesting, really interesting guy. He actually started off his career 0-3 and 4-2 since then. So his last fight, he actually competed in the UMMAF National Championships. Also was the Warrior FC 205-pound champion. So a guy who really had a tough start to his career and has turned things around here over the last year or so. Training with LKA and Tyler Chrisman, and also training with those Patriot MMA fighters, Darryl Ray and Neil Mullins out of Northern Kentucky.
They throw all sorts of stuff at you.
And that's, I think Nick Jewell fits perfectly with the Patriot MMA way. He is definitely a character who is going to provide something unique to fighting.
Absolutely.
Introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue Corner, your light heavyweight champion, Tyler Ship.
And Ship actually making the drop down from heavyweight. He's the heavyweight champion for Hardrock MMA. Dropping down, vacated that title, now moving down to 205. And the interesting thing was he actually weighed in at 193 pounds for this fight, so it might even be his next fight going down to try to get the middleweight title.
Yeah, for sure.
Just 19 years old. Took his first 4 fights, he was in high school. Just graduated high school about 6 weeks ago. So now really getting the opportunity to kind of focus more on his training. 4-0 with 4 knockouts, and a guy who just I feel like he feels like he was born to be a fighter and has been begging to be able to get the opportunity to step in the cage since the day he basically started training.
Yeah. Well, I see he's got a Team Demon and Hybrid in his corner. Kevin Raniere, who a lot of people don't know who Kevin Raniere is. Kevin Raniere has been around forever. Things like that. The first time I ever seen a Kevin Raniere fight, it was actually a police officers versus firemen boxing event. And Kevin Rainier threw a spinning back fist. And it's a punch, it's loud.
Your light heavyweight Hard Rock MMA champion.
So you convinced him it was allowed.
Yeah. But Kevin's a good dude.
Confident move.
Yeah. Kevin's been around a long time.
Patriot MMA and LKK from Bentonville, Kentucky, Mr. Slick Nick Nasty.
Slick Nick. Is it Slick Nasty or Slick Mick Nasty?
I don't know. I think he probably will answer to both.
Slick Nick Nasty. Okay, so not Mick. But okay.
93 pounds, fighting out of the B2 digital corner.
Yes, Tyler Shipp looking
Hybrid Gym and
chiseled.
Demon from Holton, Indiana, Tyler Shipp.
And if you've seen the striking of Tyler Shipp, he has been one of the more polished guys through 3 or 4 fights that I've seen in a long time. Especially a guy who was 215, 220 pounds fighting really big heavyweights.
Yeah.
His last fight where he won the heavyweight title, fought Josh Schlenker and absolutely blasted Schlenker with an uppercut and finished that fight via strikes with 1 second left to go in the first round. And now deciding to drop down maybe to a more natural 100, now he's 195 pounds and probably could make it down to 185 if he really wanted to here in the future.
Absolutely. Like I said, with Kevin Rainier as your striking coach, I'm sure he's going to be crisp on what he's doing.
Catches the kick there from Nick Jewell.
Yeah.
Looking for the takedown, but he's got to watch that neck.
He's going for it. He's going to get it. Big slam.
Big slam there.
The crowd loves that.
And Tyler Shipp already in side control after that slam. See him looking to try to posture up here. Has his hips in. Nick Jewell trying to get back to his feet. And I think Tyler Shipp would be more than happy to get back to the feet there.
Yeah.
Nick Jewell with a nice takedown. And it looked like Shipp hit his head on the cage there.
Yeah.
Awkward fall there for Tyler Shipp. And now Nick Jewell in side control. Shipp walking off the cage. And a kick there from Nick Jewell. That was not to the head. Just a soccer kick there, but it was to the body. That was definitely to the body from our vantage point. Shipp appears to be okay. John House stops the fight, though. He probably is going to take a point here, if not disqualify Nick Jewell. Doesn't look like there's going to be a disqualification. An illegal strike there. And John House getting things under control. That, from our vantage point, did look like, and it was definitely vicious, but it looked like it was to the body, and clearly, soccer kicks are legal. If they are to the body, you just can't kick to the head. And Nick Jewell is definitely coming forward here, but Tyler Shipp again grabs hold of him and takes him to his corner. Now looking to try to get the takedown, but Jewell ends up on top. Shipp now regains his guard here. Looking for the triangle. This looks pretty tight here. He's got the position.
He should have postured.
I don't know if his
throwing the
his
punches,
right,
has the armbar too. And Nick is going to try to slam his way out of it. I was just going to say,
Tyler reverses him. Now he's on top.
I was just going to say Nick Jewell is a tough matchup because he's so unorthodox. You never know what he's going to do.
Exactly. Got to watch the up kicks.
Tyler is doing a good job of determining where his position will be.
Yeah, has that hip right, trying to take the back here. Has
the
a rear naked choke in.
Looks like carried his weight. Tell if it's under. Out.
Looks like it's just on the jaw right now. Oh, actually, it is deep here.
He needs to push up and get it off his thing, or off his chin, not pull it down underneath.
And Nick actually needs to pull that right hand off of the top of his head. He's doing a good job of staying tough here, but
He's out of it. Now he's got to worry about the punches coming.
Ship trying to flatten him out.
He's rolling. He's still working, though.
Ship is maintaining the mount.
What a fight here.
Wow.
This has been just in the first round.
Fight of the night?
I think pretty clearly so far. Ship postures up, and Jewel was tapping there. He was clearly, it looked like he was tapping, and the referee stopped it. Tyler Ship winning the interim light heavyweight title here at Hardrock MMA 91. What a fight. I think these guys are looking for a fight of the night trophy.
Yeah.
They knew it was going to be an exciting fight. I heard them talking a little bit back and forth on social media leading up to it, and they were excited to fight each other. But Tyler Ship here, 5-0, already the number 1 ranked heavyweight in Kentucky. Now you got to think he's going to be number 1 ranked at light heavyweight. And who are they going to get to fight this guy?
Time will tell.
Just 19 years old, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes and 46 seconds of the first round. Your winner, referee stoppage due to unanswered strikes, and still your light heavyweight champion, Tyler Ship.
That's 2 titles now for Tyler Ship. Again, just 19 years old. So much potential.
Folks, your Hardrock MMA light heavyweight champion, Tyler Ship.
I think he's going to talk to the audience here.
I don't know what to say. I kind of played this down, but I always forget it. I love every single one of you fuckers out there.
Bleep, earmuffs. You can say whatever you want. Just say earmuffs first.
Bleep, I couldn't do it without my team. Everybody that supports me. Oh man, it's fucking amazing. It's been amazing. I couldn't. So I don't even know what to say.
Hey, give it up for your light heavyweight champ. You always, but now, never short for words, Tyler Ship.
Tyler Ship, 5-0.
Folks, we have 4 pro fights left for you. We have to bisect, should take a quick potty break. It's not going to be a full
Going to be a short intermission here, and we will be back with 4 pro fights. Stay tuned.
We do have some frisbees. These will hurt your face. So please pay attention. And don't stare at the ladies. Watch the bright yellow things flying at your face. Come on, ladies. You got this. They've been complaining about being cold all night, so they're going to get a little warm. Come on, Shannon. Come on. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we got a ring girl in training. So they're going to let her throw the frisbee at you. All right, you got to make some noise. Let them hear you. There's a lot of people this way, too. Maybe you got it. They love screamers. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. He's playing on his phone. All right, here we go. Hey, guys, way back there, Shelly. Woo. Oh, dang. Woo. Shelly, they want you. Shannon? Okay, nope. Okay, you gotta tell Shelly where to go. Who was it? Oh, dang. -2 yards on the throw. Great job. All right, folks, quick. Now we're down to 3 minutes, so we just cut into your PP time.
to the right. Crisscross. Crisscross. Chop, chop, real smooth. Let's go to work. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. 2 ups this time. 2 ups this time. Right foot, 2 stumps. Left foot. Turn it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. All right. 5 ups this time.
Get into your seats, y'all.
Left foot, let's go. Right foot again. Left foot again. Right foot, let's go. Left foot, let's go. Freeze. Everybody clap your hands. Come on, y'all. Check it out, y'all.
Let's go ahead and make your way back to your seats. We have 4 pro fights coming at you right now.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah. True. I was dancing on the inside. No booze. No dance. All right, folks, make your way to your seats. We have a pro debut coming out right now. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, Travis Conner.
Welcome back to Hard Rock MMA 91. I'm Kelly Patrick alongside David McKinney. Got 4 pro fights ahead of us.
This is the most exciting part of the night for a lot of people. The pros, you got 4 pro fights, 4 really evenly matched pro fights here tonight as we see Travis Conner making his way to the cage here. Travis, representing 4 Seasons MMA out of Lexington, Kentucky. Made his pro debut last year down in Tennessee. Lost his first fight to Tanner Saraceno, but then came back with a nice win over Yemi Odewale in April to even up his record. And, a guy who, taking on Nick Hubler-Scherf, already has a couple of pro fights under his belt, does Travis Conner. So you got to think that's going to be a little bit of an advantage here against, Hubler-Scherf has a lot of experience as well, but Conner has that experience of, going those 3 5-minute rounds as opposed to the 3 3-minute rounds of the amateur ranks.
Yeah, exactly.
And Travis Conner, a very experienced guy himself, had a 7-1 amateur record. Of course, as we mentioned, representing 4 Seasons, a guy who loves to slug, stand up and strike, and also will slam you on your head if he gets the opportunity. So
exactly.
Definitely has a fan favorite type of fighting style, does Travis Conner.
Is this one of those fights where we have John House wearing a GoPro?
I can't tell. I think it is.
Is it a GoPro fight? Yep, it is.
Let's go ahead and say it. It's a GoPro fight.
I see it now.
Oh, he's got the full getup. He's got the robe. He's got the hat.
Got the mustache and the little goatee.
Mustache. He's got it all.
Definitely dressing up here for his pro debut. Nick Hubler-Scherf won the Hard Rock MMA amateur welterweight title. Took that away from Alex Hacker back at Hard Rock MMA 88 in April, which moved his amateur record to 5-1 to close out his amateur record. And he has an interesting kind of advantage over a lot of fighters in that even as an amateur, he was a full-time coach and trainer at Club MMA in Cincinnati area. Even a lot of pro fighters who are just a couple of fights into their careers don't get that sort of luxury. So you got to think that that's going to be, that's a huge advantage for him as a guy who gets to be at the gym pretty much anytime he wants to, and that's his full-time job.
Yeah, it would definitely help out for sure. Whereas a lot of the local pros have full-time jobs. So,
And
trying to.
of course, he is, running the MMA program at Club MMA under Jeff Robinson, the jiu-jitsu black belt coach there.
I was impressed. Hubler Scherf against Alex Hacker. Hacker brought the fight to him. He had a lot of energy, and he had the Muay Thai striking and everything. Hubler Scherf and his jiu-jitsu is what won that fight.
And that was also his first fight back after an extended layoff as well. So he took about, almost 2 years off from the cage and came back and took on a guy who was maybe one of the hottest 170-pound fighters in Kentucky, and Alex Hacker. Alex, I know, had just come back off of fighting in Las Vegas for King of the Cage, and Hubler Scherf looked great in that fight.
He has a kickboxing fight coming up, Alex does.
Actually, is it tonight at Glory? I think he does.
It is Glory. Is it tonight? I don't know.
It's in Chicago, I know that.
Representing 4 seasons from Lexington, Kentucky, Travis Conner.
Travis Conner has a big following here, it looks like.
Making his 170-pound pro debut, representing Club MMA from Cincinnati, Ohio, Nicholas Hubler.
Definitely still seems to be a Hubler Scherf pro crowd, though, here. Of course, fighting just over the river from Cincinnati, the western part of Cincinnati. Pro debut here for Nicholas Hubler Scherf. Third pro fight for Travis Conner, who is in the gray. Hubler Scherf in the black. John House with the GoPro is a referee for this one. You see immediately Travis Conner. He doesn't throw a ton of punches, but he throws heavy punches.
Yeah.
Not a lot of jabs coming from Travis Conner. Big overhand right there from Conner.
Used it to close the distance and work in.
This is a really interesting pro debut too for Hubler Scherf against a guy who has, a pretty good prospect in his own right in Travis Conner, a guy who 7-1 as an amateur, and really tough fight here for both guys.
Yeah.
Looks like Hubler Scherf slipped there on that leg kick.
Travis leading in with that left hook to the body to close distance.
See those elbows there from Hubler Scherf there. Of course, can't do that in the amateur ranks. Nice slam there from Travis Conner, and we've definitely seen some huge slams. I think that was maybe on the lower end of the impact level from some of his slams that we've seen. Nevertheless, he gets the job done. You see Hubler Scherf has control of that overhook on the left arm of Travis Conner, who just muscles it out. I've seen this before from him too. I've seen him in side control, pounding a guy out and just stands up out of it, Travis Conner.
Well, he's got him a guillotine now he's working for. Well, the thing is he knows what he likes to do. And as a pro, at this point in the game, when you turn pro, you should be able to dictate what's happening. And Conner is definitely doing that. If he doesn't want to do something, he's going to get back up, make him stand. He's like, well, I just want to do this.
When he's doing that, he stands up, but then immediately goes for another takedown. Is that just trying to score points, or is that just trying to say,
Can be.
What?
Or it's just, again, it's...
Maybe I just want to try to get in side control here this time. And
yeah,
pick
maybe.
You up and slam
even
you
though
on your head.
just because you get somebody down and maybe you just don't get to the position that you wanted to get into. So
jab there.
His counter striking though off of Hubler Scherf's jab, like every time he even throws a punch, Connor's making him eat one for it.
And that was a heavy leg kick there from Hubler Scherf. Oh, and Conner got clipped.
Yeah, caught him on the way in.
Body shot there from Hubler Scherf. One of the more underutilized aspects of MMA is body shots. But Hubler Scherf does it just about as well as anybody at this level. Nice left hook there, following up with a combination. Nice knee there from Nicholas Hubler Scherf. You see Conner blocking those, but Hubler Scherf starting to tee off here. Now stalking Connor.
Yeah.
A couple more body shots and a big right hand there from Hubler-Scherf. And that seemed to daze Connor. Another body shot. And you see the mouth wide open of Travis Connor.
Yeah, Connor needs the...
Another knee there.
I was going to say, look for him to probably shoot in and try to tie in.
And if you're Hubler-Scherf, you need to use this underhook here that you have on the left side. Try to turn Travis Connor off of you. You don't want a tired guy to just be able to lay on you. Another nice knee there from Hubler-Scherf off the cage. Hubler-Scherf is a guy who has a lot of tools. Now Travis Connor trying to drop down and trying to get that double leg.
Yep.
And again, just releases there.
Watch for the leg kick.
Head kick. And Connor still throwing heavy leather. Big right hand there. That came from the hip.
Yeah, and that barely grazed past.
He probably heard the whiff of the glove flying past his ears. Hubler-Scherf now starting to tee off.
Throwing some
the
elbows.
Crowd coming to life here.
Knee to the body. So another.
A lot of damage.
Very action-packed fight.
Yeah, and Hubler-Scherf almost with a methodical pace, almost trying to pick Connor apart here. Another nice knee there.
He's mixing it up good with knees and elbows and combinations.
Something we've seen pretty much his whole career, even as an amateur. Now being able to use those elbows as well. He's done a great job utilizing those elbows thus far. Connor now looking to try to get this takedown. 10 seconds left here in round number 1. See if Connor can either finish the takedown or if Hubler-Scherf can do any more damage. And that was a great round there. The members of the crowd standing on their feet.
Man, Hubler-Scherf is one crafty fighter.
He definitely, seems that's I think the perfect explanation of how he fights as a fighter. He doesn't necessarily try to force anything. He really just takes what's there and says, you know what, I have plenty of tools, and I'm just going to use take whatever you give me.
He seems to have a very strong feel or a good feel of the pulse of the fight or the pace.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what another great point there is. I was going to say that he seems to be able to kind of let the fight come to him and be able to utilize whatever tools he has. You see,
I just remember that the Alex Hacker fight, man. He looked to me like he was losing. But he was in there, and he stuck with it.
Came back and was able to get the finish in that fight, I believe, in the 4th round by TKO.
Yes.
And that's a good fight to take as your last amateur fight. And a guy like Alex Hacker is a pretty polished fighter in his own right. And Travis Connor's corner telling him to pump that jab and immediately blast that right hand. And Connor is throwing heavy. If he is able to lay him on flush, Hubler-Scherf might go down here.
What a fight.
Connor again just releasing. This jab there from another body shot there from Hubler-Scherf, and that's just something that a lot of MMA fighters don't utilize is the body shot.
Yeah.
And those body shots are really what kind of take the toll later in the fight. Hubler-Scherf now with the body lock here gets the was in half guard, now in full mount. Has this arm triangle locked in, looks like he might be able to step over and try to finish this. And Connor needs to try to use, they call it answer the telephone with that left hand. Doesn't look like it's fully locked in just yet.
No, he tapped. I actually think that's very similar to what he got Alex Hacker with, if I remember correctly. Wow.
Yeah, definitely did a great job of, again, kind of just taking what was given to him and utilizing that and finishing the fight.
Very impressive victory in his professional debut.
Against a very, very tough, durable fighter in Travis Connor, a guy who had, already two pro fights under his belt, and masterful performance there from Nicholas Hubler-Scherf.
What do they say? If you're going to wear a robe and a top hat, you better back it up.
Who says that?
That's just what everyone says.
That's what they would say. But yeah, I completely agree with you. If you're going to come
tonight,
out with
he certainly did. I say continue with the robe and the top hat.
he's earned it.
He's earned it.
Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute and 12 seconds of round number 2. Your winner, tap out due to arm triangle, Nicholas Hubler.
Nicholas Hubler-Scherf, now 1-0 in his pro career. Gets a round of applause there from all of his fans in the crowd.
All right, folks, hey, you're now 1-0 pro, Nicholas Hubler-Scherf. Just want to give a huge shout out to all my fans out there. My family, you guys all put in the blood, sweat, and get here, so thank you much, guys. Focus Fight Team Club MMA. Keep it going strong, guys. Let's get up. Way to go. Pro Nicholas Hubler-Scherf.
Of course, if you're going to come out to Pharrell, I think you have to be able to back that up too, right?
Those are the two rules that everyone always says. The top hat and robe rule, and then the Pharrell happy song.
Definitely a guy that, really exciting as an amateur, and excited to see him make his pro debut and see where he can go.
Into the locker room. Remember, September 16th at Paracat Springs Convention Center in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. That is our next show, Hardrock MMA. Like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter. I think we still have a Twitter, right?
Yes.
Like us on Twitter.
At Hardrock MMA on Twitter, of course, Hardrock MMA on Facebook, and HardrockMMA.com. I know that they have the rankings up there, the Hardrock MMA rankings. So if you're a fighter out there, see where you're ranked. You're probably ranked above Scott Wegman.
Next competition.
I have been out of the loop for a little bit. Yes, we probably are right now.
That's right. Where you got him right where you want him, right?
What was your highest ranking?
I got the 6th.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
Moving along here in the featherweight division, James Adcock representing Knoxville Martial Arts Academy out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And if that sounds familiar, that's the gym that Oven St. Preux trains at. Yep. Of course, Eric Turner in his corner here. Eric Turner is known as kind of a wizard in the mixed martial arts world, a really underrated coach, and people wonder why Oven St. Preux, even though he's a top 5 ranked fighter in the world, stays with Eric Turner. It's because he's a really slick, well-rounded coach, and Ovens has a ton of young guys to push him down there in Knoxville.
yeah.
And of course, James Adcock coming back to the cage, first time since 2015. Started off 2-0 and took his first loss to Kyle Causey at Valor Fights 23, was submitted, and that was a back and forth fight between those two guys. And Kyle Causey is, no slouch on the ground, tough fighter, and James took some time off and now ready to come back and taking a tough fight here against Jamal Muhammad, who may be one of the hottest fighters in the state of Kentucky over the past couple of years.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe we're yet to see an actual Fight of the Night award be given out, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess we'll still have to see. This is one that I had circled on my fight card, mostly because I've become a huge fan of Jamal Muhammad. Seeing his last few fights, his last amateur fight against Sean Nickel, the best back and forth fights. So both of those fights, those two guys had 2 fights between each other, and they were both just amazing.
Yeah.
And then his pro debut win back at Hardrock MMA 89 over Brandon Kaiser. He's already just 1-0, already ranked number 9 in Kentucky as a pro featherweight. So, definitely some high hopes and high praise already being heaped on Jamal Muhammad, and really again one of the most impressive fighters that I've seen in a long time come out of this area.
Absolutely.
They said he's going to display something different that we haven't seen from him. I know after his last fight he called out CM Punk, which was that was pretty unique. And I think one of the things I'm worried about is that he's going to actually hurt himself because the guy's smile is so big. I feel like he's going to like rip like the corner of his mouth. You like never see like he always that ear to ear smile on his face. Even sometimes when he's fighting.
Yeah.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 145-pound pro bout. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 145 pounds, representing KMAA from Knoxville, Tennessee, James Adcock. And his opponent fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue corner, weighing in at 145 pounds, representing 4 seasons and LTJ from Lexington, Kentucky, Jamal Muhammad.
You hear that may be one of the loudest ovations you're going to hear tonight.
Yeah.
Featherweight action set to go here. James Adcock in the black, Jamal Muhammad in the white, red, and black. John House is the referee for this one. Set to go action underway here. Both guys coming out southpaw. You see the unique striking style already from Jamal Muhammad, 5th degree Taekwondo black belt. There's that front kick there, another front kick right to the face.
Very aggressive front kicks from Muhammad.
He is winging those kicks out there.
The stance in the
Wow.
And a spinning kick. I know he loves that spinning back kick. That is Jamal
the stance
Muhammad.
of Adcock is definitely unique in its own too.
Good job, James.
Yeah, almost standing straight forward with both feet forward.
Sorry.
I see circles here.
Just a lot of switching his stance. And,
Jamal Muhammad took the center of the cage and was just standing there turning in a circle. One of the things that I thought maybe, Jamal recently got his jiu-jitsu black belt. I thought maybe he might show off some of that jiu-jitsu skills. We haven't seen him. He's shown off the striking many times before. Thought maybe he might try to break out the ground game. Of course, Adcock was submitted in his last fight.
It's good to have it when you need it, regardless. Looks like Muhammad is very comfortable with his striking.
Yeah, I mean, being a 5th degree Taekwondo black belt and then training down with those guys at 4 seasons, I'm sure definitely helps out with that.
Very well-rounded fighter.
Something I have noticed that is different is Jamal's actually in the center of the cage, whereas usually he's the one circling.
Okay.
And he's been holding the center of the cage pretty dominantly so far. Then he went with a spinning wheel kick and he closed distance, and now he's working up against the fence.
We saw him working that outside a lot against his fight against Sean Nickel. Now Muhammad now looking for the takedown here up against the cage. Adcock has that whizzer on the left arm of Jamal Muhammad. Adcock looking to his corner to get some coaching here.
Good. Keep pushing circle now. Circle.
Pushes Muhammad off of him.
Halfway done.
Yeah, I now that you say that, it definitely seems to be part of the game plan for Muhammad to just stand in the center of the cage. And
like with his fights with Sean, he circled and Sean stayed in the middle. And even with Kaiser, in the short instance they were standing, they, Jamal was the one that was circling.
now there's some blood from somebody. Can't tell where it's coming from. Maybe from the nose of Adcock. As Muhammad did a good job just pulling out that post, that left leg, to try to finish this takedown here. Looks like he's already over he's in half guard here. Jamal Muhammad, nice knee to the body as they get back to their feet. Muhammad almost instinctively kind of was starting to circle on the outside. He's like, wait,
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
Yep, exactly.
Center of the cage.
He's like, I'm taking the center.
Doing good.
Like a little slip there from Adcock. Couldn't tell if Muhammad caught him with anything. Side kick there from Muhammad. Jumping kick there.
Pull those elbows up. Pull those elbows up.
Muhammad also was an all-state wrestler in high school in Kentucky as well, so definitely has the wrestling in his back pocket as well if he needs it.
Push the throat. Flank with your right hand. Push with your
See
left.
him with this
There you go.
body lock. Looking to try to finish this takedown.
Got 40 seconds, James. Doing great.
Muhammad releases
Nice.
off and just short on that head kick.
9-1.
He's working that front kick a lot still.
Adcock almost looked like he laughed that last front kick off.
Yeah.
6 or 5, 5, 5.
In the last minute of the first round here.
Oh,
fist
big
land.
spinning back
Really
fist.
connected.
Front kick.
Adcock back.
And some
That
big
could
punches
be-
coming. Spinning
Wow.
back kick. He's got him going.
How much?
Takes him
And this
down.
might be the beginning of the end,
Wow.
and the
That's it.
referee stops it.
That spinning back fist, really.
That was the beginning of the end, and then Jamal Muhammad just
Unloaded
absolutely
after that.
turned it on.
Yeah.
Great endurance from Muhammad to be able to turn it on like that at that stage, that late in a round, and just attack.
Yeah. As soon as he got him in trouble, he went. Put it in fifth gear and just,
It almost seemed like that was just something he was throwing out there just to throw out there, and then when it landed, that's when he said, oh, you know what, I'll go ahead and finish the fight here.
yeah, he went from there and then he went with the push kick. And
Nice performance there from Jamal Muhammad. 2-0 now with 2 first-round finishes. And that is a big win there for Jamal Muhammad. It's a very tough James Adcock coming out of Knoxville Martial Arts Academy.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4 minutes and 57 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by knockout, Jamal Muhammad.
Muhammad is very happy with that win. Congratulations.
Muhammad with the knockout win there. Submission in his first fight, knockout in his second fight. Still yet to lose.
I'm going to hold the mic, all right? I'm going to go ahead and take it. And you just shut that one off. You're good. So it's not even on. And Conor McGregor's busy. All right? Sound good? All right. Now, 2-0, right? 2-0.
Thank you everybody for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all my students at LTJ. Thank you to my family, my mom, my sisters, my brothers and sisters. You guys are always there for me. I know that like during fight week, I'm not the easiest person to deal with, but thank you guys for putting up with me. And thank you to my cornerman, Michael Seals, Stoney Dennis. And also, thank you to Adam Gomez for letting me come up and train in Georgetown as well. And last thing, there is a card in Lexington on October 14th for Hard Rock. And then Brandon Hicken, I would love to be on that card. Let's pack out Heritage Hall. Thank you, guys.
Muhammad not calling out CM Punk this time, but still hoping to get a hometown fight. I know his last couple fights have been in Northern Kentucky, and hoping to get the chance to fight close to home his next time out.
Gary Thomas giving us some interesting signals here. What's going on over there?
Yeah, we didn't huddle up before and get the signs from the third base coach.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Gary Thomas Jr. of BluegrassMMA.com. David, you do some work with Gary.
Yeah, I do more work than he does, though.
I was baiting you for that. Does Gary need to say something?
Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, Charles Stanford.
Co-main event time here at Hardrock MMA 91, and I think when this fight card was put together, this was the first fight actually announced on this fight card, and people have been buzzing about this fight ever since.
Yeah, absolutely.
Two guys from Cincinnati area, and I don't think they necessarily wanted to fight because they like each other, but both guys, especially Charlie Stanford, saying, you know what, I have a hard time finding fights, and if Pinder wants to fight me, then I'll fight him.
Yeah, but Charlie's never been one to not take a fight, so when it came down to it, he was just like, I'll fight anybody. And, they both have, the funny thing is like I train with them guys randomly on Sundays when they come over to drive for the Sunday Fun Day events. So having trained with both of them, being friends with all of them, and like even in the back, like they're laughing and talking and having a good time and stuff. So as a fighter, I have always liked going into a fight knowing that there's not this animosity or anything. Even if I don't know the person, they didn't kill my family member or something, you know what I mean? Like, you're going in there to have they have the same goals, obviously, but to have a good time at doing it and be friendly about it, it's always...
And speaking of having a good time, it's nice to see sort of a big smile on the face of Charlie Stanford.
Yeah.
I talked to him leading up during fight week, and, unfortunately, he's had a rough string here in his last few fights, 1-5 in his last 6 fights. Of course, that kind of started with the loss to Cody Garbrandt, kind of turned the tide of his career. He was 5-2 at that point, and he admitted going into his last couple of fights that really just you kind of lost sight of really lost the passion for it, and admitted, hey, he thought about hanging it up after his fight against Ruben Moore, which was back last October, and excited to see him, excited to get another fight and get back in there, and really excited to fight again and kind of renew that passion for the sport here.
Absolutely.
Leading up to this fight.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely an exciting fighter, a guy that I've been a fan of for a long time, and ever since he was, coming up to Central Ohio and beating all the guys up there, and people were wondering who are these G-Force guys, and he was definitely one of the guys who made people take notice of G-Force and Ron Gableman's fight team.
Yep. I know he had some pro boxing stuff that he did for a little while because he couldn't get MMA fights.
Jeremy Pinder, and interesting that these guys are both the same age. This is Pinder's 40th recorded fight in MMA, 27th as a pro.
Yep.
And last time we saw him, took a tough loss against Adam Fritz at Hardrock MMA 89, but still 3-2 overall in his last 5 fights. Just a really well-rounded guy who has fought anywhere from 125 up to this fight's at 145, and I think he's had even a couple of fights at 155 as well. So,
yeah, Jeremy's one of the originals too. I mean, you have 2 of the, biggest fight teams in Cincinnati between Vision and G-Force, and with having the most active fighters and things like that. So, they definitely have.
I don't think there's ever been any animosity there, but I think there's always been sort of a healthy rivalry, and definitely a shared amount of respect between the two gyms as well.
Absolutely, for sure. Jeremy Pinder just, his wife Marissa just had another baby, I believe. I think that's number 2. He's got Tiger Banks in his corner.
And I talked to Pinder as well and said that this is a fight that has a potential to be a great fight, and he said he guarantees it doesn't go 15 minutes.
No, I can't see that it will, honestly.
Of course, all 13 of Pinder's wins have come via stoppage, 11 of them via submission.
Yeah.
And if you're designing the game plan for Jeremy Pinder, you think you probably might want to try to get this to the ground. We saw in Charlie Stanford's last fight against Ruben Moore, just really got out-wrestled for 15 minutes, and do you think he might be trying to do the same thing that Ruben War was able to do to Charlie Stanford in the last fight?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, you know, Jeremy's he's good on his feet too, so I could see that Jeremy might stand with him for a while, and you know, regardless of where it goes, I think it'll be a really good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, this competition is in the 145-pound pro division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 145 pounds, representing Team G-Force from Cincinnati, Ohio, Charles the Trinity Stanford. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue corner, weighing in at 146 pounds, representing Vision MMA from Cincinnati, Ohio, Jeremy Honeyboy Pender.
Co-main event here at Hardrock MMA 91. Charlie Stanford in the black and red, Jeremy Pender in the black. John House, third man in the cage. A lot of people have been waiting in anticipation for this fight.
Yeah.
Interesting no glove touch there at the beginning of the fight.
Well,
right hand lands there.
Oh,
Stanford.
wow.
He clipped Pender.
Almost turned his back.
Pender looks wobbly here.
yeah, he caught him with a right hand and a left hook. Pender's composed again, though.
Yeah, even threw a knee.
Got to wonder how much that affects Pender going forward.
Almost kind of.
And Stanford not wanting to grapple. Throwing some straight punches right down the pipe.
Big knee.
Another overhand
right.
He's landing on Pender here early.
Another right. Pender's coming back.
And I think Charlie Stanford a lot looser than we saw him against Ruben War.
Yeah.
Another straight right. And he's leading with that right hand, too.
Yeah,
Scott,
he's closing distance really nice with it. That way he can cover in and he gets that hook. Nice hook to the body.
Yeah, throwing that right hand and then that left hook. That 2-3.
Yep.
And then a nice
following with the knee and the clinch.
Muay Thai
Pender's got
clinch.
some nice uppercuts on the inside there.
Stanford is certainly the aggressor. Pender's
Nice.
mouthpiece went out.
Some nice head movement from Jeremy there when they were in the pocket.
And now Pender trying
He's
to
going for that single.
go for the single, but he's already taken a lot of damage here.
Some big elbows to the side of the head.
They're still able to pull those legs out from under him. And this is the question of where, how Charlie Stanford get back to his feet. Saw him, Ruben War was able to out-wrestle him in his last fight. Now he's on the cage, needs to be able to wall walk here.
Yeah. And being on the padded part, if you're going to wall crawl, that'd be a nice part to do it so you're saving some of your back meat.
Pender looks like he's in half guard here. Charlie has that. Probably had that overhook. Pender really looking to try to slow things down here, slow the pace.
They put his mouth.
Get out of this round. If I'm Pender, I'm looking to get out of this round.
Yeah.
Pender looking to try to step on that instep there, get out of that half guard, but a lot of times
Charlie's coming up, stands right up.
did a good job exploding up there.
That's what Stanford wants.
Yeah.
That's another right hand that landed. He's doing a nice job of countering off of anything that Pender does.
Yep.
Right or left hook,
nice.
excuse me.
Pender level changing under. Charlie's grabbing the head to pull him back up. A little scrambling. Pulling it, cross facing, pull his head up.
Needs to dig that underhook really to kind of turn Pender off of him. Has that overhook on the left side. If he can, try to dig that underhook. Switches. Pender now trying to drag
watch
Charlie
his leg
to the
now.
ground.
Oh, wow. Is he going for it?
Looks like he's going for a heel hook here.
He's got to be careful on this.
Looks like he's out of there.
Charlie's got taped ankles, which does not help in this position. Some big punches. But again, he's got to watch doing that because you commit your weight to one side. He's out.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of times the way to get a guy to let go of your leg is just start punching him in the face.
Yeah.
Don't have that advantage in
Pretty
jiu-jitsu.
No.
That was basically from the mat that he threw that punch.
Yep.
Oh! Straight right hand. Dropped Pender, and Stanford, the counters off of anything he throws. He wants to finish this fight with a knockout, and Pender really just kind of almost falls into him and able to get the takedown. 10 seconds left here.
Okay.
And if you're the judges, you know, Stanford did a lot more damage, but Pender had those 2 takedowns.
Yeah, you have a ton of.
If I'm a judge, that's a pretty clear round for Charlie Stanford, but a lot of times judges score takedowns a lot more than they score the striking, which really is kind of a questionable judging, but I think that should be 1 round to Charlie Stanford.
Very clear-cut round to
sure.
Stanford, in my opinion, also.
I've had fights, though, where I've completely worked people on their feet, and I got taken down a couple times and immediately bounce right back up, nullify what they do, and then lose by a decision.
The judges say that you lost that round.
Because he took you down, and it's like.
That should be inexcusable. The judges should not score a takedown or a big slam as points, or any, in my opinion.
Right.
The crowd gets excited from stuff like that.
Right.
That's my
unless you can do it and then advance to a good position and get submissions, or continue working towards the submissions or ground and pound or something like that.
Pender did get those 2 takedowns, but what did he do with them?
Well, yeah.
That's
but still, they were solid takedowns.
This fight is far from over, but in my opinion, Pender was fortunate to have got out of the round.
They're both smiling and having a good time there at the beginning of the round.
Flying knee there from Stanford. Landed to the chest of Pender.
Keep in mind, Pender, when he wins by decision. So all it takes is...
Actually, Pender, all of his wins have been via stoppage.
Okay, I'm sorry, stoppage.
Yeah, 11 submissions and 2 knockouts, I believe.
Okay.
Most of his losses have been via decision. So.
I'm sorry, I meant to say via submissions.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes.
And
I have to give it for this. To watch 2 people come out and trade the way they are, it's an honor to sit here and watch this so far. Because they have both come out this round firing.
I like that Charlie is leading with that straight right hand down the pipe and then following up with it. Following up every single time with that hook. That was an elbow that looked like it landed there to the jaw of Pender. Charlie looks to be very comfortable in the middle of the cage here. Really relaxed with his striking.
Yeah, both of them are. I mean, they are, like I said, they're both definitely.
And I think that also might be he's seen that, Pender can take you down, but you're able to get back up. He's not going to lay on you for 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah, nice combination by Pender with a 310. Stone to 2 and rolling. Nice 1-2 from him. And caught a 2 on the way out.
Stanford, again, countering off of everything. Pender's been the guy that's been first, but Stanford, a lot more damage with those strikes.
Who was it who said they didn't think this fight would go 15 minutes? I think that's accurate.
Nice switch by Stanford.
Was able to get those hips out off of the cage immediately and end up on top. See this high guard here from Jeremy Pender. See Pender with wrist control here, maybe looking for a triangle.
Looks like
for
he's
that
trying
armbar here.
Yeah, he went to switch for it.
Stanford's corner definitely telling him to watch for that armbar. From this position, though, to really truly set up an armbar, it's going to be tough to catch a guy that's as experienced as Charlie Stanford.
Yeah.
Now they're back on their feet. Nice sprawl there from Stanford. He looked like he was trying to pick his shot.
Yeah.
Lets Pender get back up. About 2 minutes left to go here in round number 2. And Stanford definitely willing to take one to give one in this second round. Nice head movement there from Stanford as well. Nice level change from Pender. Gets that trip takedown.
That was a beautiful move by Jeremy Pender on that.
Now already passes here into mount. Looking to try to grapevine those legs here, get his hips in. Stanford in a precarious position.
He's got an arm behind the head, and he's going to start working for an arm triangle.
Stanford from this position needs to try to pick his spot and just try to buck Pender off of him. Looked like Pender might have been going for that Americana or key lock there on the right side. Stanford hasn't really tried to bridge thus far.
Yeah, he hasn't done much to try to get out from underneath him at this point. Just kind of pulling him down and holding. Now he
nice
rolls.
Hip switch there.
Wow.
Nice.
Almost gave him his back.
Yeah.
Very nice recovery by
Picked his
Stanford.
spot and went.
Yeah. Good explosiveness.
Helps to be a great athlete.
It does. It does. And young.
Under 30 seconds left to go here in round number 2. Stanford hit a left hook there from Pender. Pender just trying to throw that short check left hook.
Yeah.
Just missed with it. Oh, ate a couple shots there, did Pender.
He's throwing elbows now from the outside instead of throwing the punches. He's throwing overhand like
Yeah, and
right
you wonder
elbow.
if maybe there's some sort of damage to the hand when fighters start doing that.
Yeah.
And that's the end of round number 2. We are going to the third and
Great fight here so far between these two guys. I think probably 2 rounds to Charlie Stanford, unless you guys disagree.
The second round was more of a question to me.
Yeah. I would say. Go ahead.
I would say it could go either way almost.
That again, you have to stand up from Charlie, and then on the ground you have. I mean, Jeremy did good on his feet too, but when they were on the ground, it was because of Jeremy's takedowns. Charlie sprawled a few of those, missed, and got back really quickly. So no real damage on the ground, but again, it's hard to say what they're going to look at.
Definitely an evenly matched fight here between these two guys.
Tiger Banks, the Thai coach for Jeremy Pender, in there working with him. He's definitely shown some of his skill set from there that he's worked with. Great show of sportsmanship from these two, and
respect between these two. And I think they were excited and also not excited about this fight.
yeah,
It's harder to fight, I think, a lot of times a guy that you like. See some blood coming out of the nose of Jeremy Pender. Nice knee there from Stanford.
yeah,
You see Pender with those feints,
yep.
trying to bait Stanford into that counter and then maybe trying to duck under, change levels. Nice left hook, step off left hook there from Jeremy Pender. Stanford catches the kick and throws a body kick.
Nice left hook on the way in.
Interesting that Stanford almost had Pender backed into the corner there and backed off a little bit.
Well,
left hook there just misses from Charlie Stanford.
Yep.
There's a straight left. He's countering everything. There's a left.
You get the feeling that either of these fighters are fatigued?
I don't think it's so much fatigue as it is just the punishment aspect of taking shots like that. Obviously their cardio is going to be really good.
You got two guys who have, 26 fights and 13 pro fights.
Yeah.
As Pender now on the ground here in half guard, and you think maybe at this point he probably thinks, hey, and now you see the blood just streaming. I'm not sure if that's the blood coming from. Yeah, it is the blood from the nose.
Yeah, Jeremy's nose is opened up pretty good.
Might be a broken nose here from Jeremy Pender. And
Charlie's doing good at blocking all the punches that are coming. He's not taking any punishment on top.
Trying to get his feet on the cage here and try to wall walk.
He's taking a few body punches.
The guard is open for Stanford. Now closes it. Pender throwing some body shots here.
Pender's ear is bleeding also.
Pender again looking for that arm triangle.
Yep.
Looking to he needs to get this right knee out to try to finish it.
Yeah, Charlie's going to have to explode to roll out of this and try to get back to his feet, because
looks like Pender almost has his knee out.
Stanford trying to hold on to the half guard, but it doesn't look like he's able to.
Stanford looks like he's trying to turn in, maybe sweep and buck. Yeah, he's not going to finish this here. Stanford has that left arm down. Needs to try to bridge and escape out. Pender doing a good job here, staying on top.
Yeah.
This is when it gets even harder to stay on top, when you're slippery and sweaty, and then there's also
the blood aspect.
Yeah, some blood thrown in there as well.
This is a war.
Charlie's doing good at
another hip.
Oh, right to his back.
Oh,
it looks like he slipped it right in. Looks like he may have slipped the rear naked choke right in. I don't know if he's got it deep enough.
This looks like it's pretty tight here. Pender has it locked in.
Wow. Stanford pulling his hand down. What defense from Stanford to stay alive. And he tapped.
Wow. Absolutely fantastic fight there. As Pender takes the blood. One of the things I think I noticed is Stanford was trying to explode out. It looks like he might have slipped on some of the blood that was in the middle of the cage, and that enabled Pender to take the back and get the choke. Nevertheless, a great fight. Everything that we expected that fight to be.
Yeah.
And here come the fight of the night trophies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Difficult to top that.
And Stanford upset at the loss, but knows that it's to a tough fighter in Jeremy Pender. Hard to say that any guy lost that fight, because that was a great fight.
Both guys embracing very good sportsmanship. As you said, they're friends.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4 minutes and 5 seconds of round number 2. Referee Big John has called a stop to the fight. Your winner, tap. And an absolute related topic, fight of the night, right here.
What a fight.
Yeah.
What a fight.
Clearly the fight of the night.
Wow.
You think Pender broke his nose?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did or not. He definitely, there's a lot of blood streaming out of it.
Great sportsmanship there. It's good to see that.
Fun. It was a war, man. That's what I'm here for. Guys, I don't know. Did you think you were winning going into round 3 or tied or what?
We were 1-1, I thought. The mount and the takedown in the second. Or the, yeah.
Gotcha.
In the second. So Pender thought he'd won the second round.
We'll take your breath away.
I think I agree with that.
Anyone you want to say thanks for coming out to?
Everybody on my team, Team Vision MMA, CC, Jake, all my students, my family, my roommate, look at my wife. Where's my wife at? There she is. Max, my son, AJ. He's at home with Nana. Where's Aaron? Slusher, thanks for hooking me up with some cardio. Jason,
Pender giving shout outs to everybody.
Who's your winner and fight of the night?
40th fight for Jeremy
That's
Pender.
what his wife was saying.
I don't think he's slowing down anytime soon either.
That's a fighter right there. Wow. And Stanford.
And we're still not done.
Your main event. This fight is in the professional ranks at a catch weight of 195. Before we bring them out again, September 16th, Parakeet Springs Convention Center in Shepherdsville, and like Jamal Muhammad mentioned earlier, October 14th, Lexington, Kentucky. Hardrock MMA goes to Lexington October 14th. Let's go ahead and bring out your fighters if we can clear the aisle way. Let's bring out your fighters for your main event. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, Josh Thorpe.
Main event of the evening, Josh Thorpe took this fight on less than a week's notice. This is supposed to be Billy Mojo Horn taking on Julio Gallegos, and Mojo broken toe, or I know he had an injury leading up to his fight, and Josh Thorpe, as he has throughout much of his career, taking a fight on short notice against a really tough opponent in Julio Gallegos. And unfortunately, the string of short notice fights has kind of taken a toll on the record of Josh Thorpe. 14-18 is his record with 8 straight losses, but still comes into this fight, 32 fight veteran of M1 Challenge. Faced a lot of tough guys. Faced Muhammad Abdullah, UFC veteran Roger Bowling, UFC veteran Ryan Thomas, UFC veteran Luigi Fioravanti, UFC veteran Dom Steele, and also current UFC fighter in Maribek Taisimov. So, a guy who has been known throughout his career.
And don't forget Rob White.
And Rob White.
We're going to give our shout out to Rob White somewhere.
Hopefully, yeah, that was a great fight. Hopefully we see Rob. I know Rob had said he's retired, but I don't believe that he's retired.
We'll see what 2018 holds for him.
Got to see Rob back in there soon, but
yeah, Josh has taken a lot of short notice fights, like you said, and it just
all the way from 170 to heavyweight.
Yeah, and it's such a wide range, and it's unfortunately, like I said, it's taken a toll on it.
Taking on Julio Gallegos. And Julio is an interesting story. If you Google his name, it comes up. You can read about the tragedy that he suffered during his teenage years, unfortunately losing both parents, and became an angry guy and really found fighting as an outlet, and really has kind of made a name for himself and fought all over the world. I know actually it doesn't show up on his official record, but his last fight went over to Poland and took a fight back in May. So, really well-rounded guy, and owns his own landscaping business with his wife, and I know they also have a cleaning business. So, guy who's really turned himself around and could have gone down the wrong path, but decided to go down the right path. And really interesting guy, XFC veteran. You've seen him fight on Axis TV a bunch of times. Has a couple of wins over some UFC veterans, and Hader Hassan and Shane Prim. 5 wins by submission, 3 by knockout. Interesting that his first 9 fights, none of them went to a decision, but recently his last, 3 of his last 4 fights have gone to decision. So out of Lexington, Kentucky, 4 seasons, also trains with Adam Gomez and the Killer Bees.
Adam Gomez getting a lot of shout-outs tonight.
Yeah, we need to cut down on the Adam Gomez shout-outs next show.
Yeah, next show we'll have to really minimize that.
We got a note from Brandon. Too many Adam Gomez shout-outs.
I have to give a shout out to him as we are an affiliate Killer Bees Jiu-Jitsu.
And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the B2 digital blue corner, weighing in at 197 pounds, representing 4 seasons, the Killer Bees from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, Julio Gallego.
Hear
quite the support from the local crowd.
Yeah. I think everyone who's left in the building right now is here to see him only. As they all have moved up right behind us too.
I'm glad a lot of the people were able to see Julio stay on this fight card with Josh Thorpe stepping up on short notice.
Exactly.
Main event here, Josh Thorpe in the red, Julio Gallegos in the black. John House is the ref for this one. And Gallegos starts off. He is a fast starter.
Yeah, big right
Almost
hand.
has the guillotine in. I don't know that he has any type of guard.
Armin guillotine here, looking to try to finish this. See if Josh Thorpe is able to get out. Josh Thorpe rolls through.
Nice roll.
See if he's able to finish this guillotine here. Julio squeezing tight.
Yeah.
Can't tell if he has the position. It's going to be tough with Thorpe kind of postured up like this on one knee and then also has that other post out. Julio sits up. Thorpe is now out on top.
Nice. Thorpe's going.
Now has his
takes
back.
his back. He's going with punches.
Very nice recovery from Thorpe.
Yeah, for sure. Making him carry his weight, throwing some elbows, short punches. Watch him
Just
fall back
stands
here.
up with another human being on his back.
Yeah.
From a 4-point stance. Shows the absolute power and strength. And now just carrying him with his backpack position. You got to wonder if maybe Julio might be looking to try to slam Thorpe off of him.
He's going to spin him, it looks like. Or he's going to fall. Looks like he's going to spike.
Thorpe only had one hook in.
Thorpe off of his back now. Now trying to finish this single leg here up against the cage. Gets a couple of punches to the face. Gallegos again looking for this guillotine. See if he burned his arms out on that first attempt. Needs to get that right elbow a little bit higher to try to finish this. And Thorpe got
standing guillotine.
Nice victory there for Julio Gallegos. Moving up to 9-5 in the main event here. Chance of Julio. The people still left.
Some amazing support from the fans.
Yeah.
Gallegos is your winner. That is going to be a wrap here at Hard Rock MMA 91. I'm David McKinney, joined all night by Kelly Patrick and Scott Wegman. We will be back in September at the Paracat Springs Conference Center. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Good.